Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by Bell Tire. Tonight the Tigers will get another glimpse into their future as young lefty Daniel Norris will get the call. The record of 1-1, an ERA of 4.76 as a Tiger, and today he'll take his high-flying act into Wrigley Field in Chicago. The second and final game tonight featuring the Tigers and the Chicago Cubs. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Peppa alongside Jack Morris. We're glad to have you with us tonight. Tigers trying to sweep this series, and of course Daniel Norris will get the start in this one. Jack, he showed enough, I think, in his first three starts to have us a little bit excited about the future.
You can understand why the Tigers, wanted to go after Daniel Norris. He's very athletic-looking left-hander. He's able to field his position quite well, and he has basically good fundamental mechanics. I think he's going to have endurance for quite some time. He has to learn, like all pitchers, all young pitchers, command of the strike zone a little bit better.
All right, now the Tigers had a big night in the opener last night. They pounded out 19 hits in the ballgame. How about Ian Kinsler? 5 of those hits, he continues to swing a consistent bat.
Yeah, he was one hit away, a triple away from the cycle. He ended up with a couple singles, and he also had a perfect drag bunt. He had quite a night offensively. He continues to show baseball who's the best hitter since July 1st. You can see the numbers there. Pretty impressive for Ian. Total bases 100. That's 4th in the league, but Ian Kinsler's been hot for quite some time now.
And the Tigers will try and keep it rolling tonight against John Lester. A win for the Tigers. They finish the road trip with a 500 trip. Not all that bad. We'll send you right back to the Coliseum Studios now, and we check in with Justin White. Your expectations of what a bank can be when it's time. Come to Comerica. Ram Trucks, find your summer of fun with great deals at the Ram Summer Clearance Event. And by Kraft, individually wrapped singles, make something amazing. Back here at Wrigley Field in Chicago, Harry Carey outside of the ballpark, and Tiger fans, well, there are plenty of them outside of the ballpark as well. They have been all over the place with this two-game series at the hotel, at the ballpark, in the streets, and they are excited about watching their Tigers again here tonight in Game 2 of this series. A good night for the ball club last night, despite the 2 hours, 17-minute rain delay. Wrigley Field filling up again tonight for the second game of the series. Tigers starting lineup tonight, presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. And it looks like this. It'll be Rajai Davis leading off in left field, followed by Ian Kinsler. A huge night last night. He's at second base. Cabrera's at first. J.D. Martinez at right, followed by Castellanos and McCann. Iglesias, Gose, and Norris, your bottom three for the Tigers. And they are facing the veteran left-hander, John Lester.
John Lester is making his 25th start of the year for the Cubs. He is looking for win number 9. He probably put a little extra pressure on himself when he signed that big free agent offseason contract, but he's settled in as of late. In his last 5 starts, he's gone 4-0 with a 2.04 ERA, and that's what the Cubs need. They need their ace to pitch the way he has lately.
Here is the defense behind him, brought to you by Tim Hortons tonight. In the outfield, Dexter Fowler patrols center field, flanked by Soler in right, Schwarber in left. Along the infield, Starlin Castro will get the start at second base tonight, just his 4th career start at second. Russell is their new shortstop now. They've got Bryant and Rizzo on the corners, and Lester and Ross, your battery tonight. On what was a gorgeous afternoon, it's now turned into a gorgeous night here. No humidity, temperature in the 70s. And the Tigers trying to skip town here with a sweep in this mini 2-game series.
They won the first one last night, put themselves in position to win the series, and that would require sweeping the series.
Also would require taking care of John Lester, who they've faced once already this year. They've had good success against Lester this season. We'll see if that continues here tonight. You may notice both teams are wearing throwback uniforms here tonight, throwing back to 1945, the last time the Cubs and the Tigers met in the World Series. And so they are honoring that here this evening.
They are not wool uniforms, even though they look like they might be.
And the players for that are thankful. So here's Rajai Davis. He'll begin things for the Tigers tonight. Rajai, then Kinsler, and then Cabrera. Tigers used the first inning last night to jump out to a 3-0 lead. Here is Lester's first pitch of tonight's ball game. It's a strike called on Rajai Davis.
John Lester bringing along his own personal caddy, David Ross, his battery mate in Boston his championship years, and then they both came over to the Cubs this winter.
And they've been a good match as well here in Chicago with each other. No balls, 2 strikes on Davis. John Lester, 31 years of age, born in Tacoma, Washington. A ton of great years with the Boston Red Sox. And he got him, strike 3. Rajai looked at 3 pitches, and he is down on 3. 1 gone.
What makes John Lester so good when he pitches well is his command. He's able to really pinpoint his pitches, hit the glove. Ross is a great target for him. They work well together. They don't shake often. And you can see Rajai just kind of getting confused with that mix and match of pitches.
So here is one of the big stars in last night's ball game, Ian Kinsler, who narrowly missed a cycle. He was triple short. Ended up with 5 hits in the ball game. Not only that, but a sac fly drove in a couple of runs. Kinsler up to 304 now, 7 homers this year. Drill toward left field. Schwarber's on the run, still going back. He looks up off the ivy. On his way to second, Kinsler stuttered. Now he'll make it. Just in there with a head-first slide. He wasn't quite sure whether or not to go, and he chanced it.
Well, had the throw been more on the bag, it would have been a tougher play. Schwarber plays the carom off the bricks. pretty well, and he throws the ball hard, but you can see the hesitation from Ian Kinsler. Here we go again. You get to see Schwarber playing it off the wall. And there Ian Kinsler hesitated momentarily. That could have cost him had the throw been more accurate. But either case, he is in second base. The Twins have a, excuse me, the Twins. Why am I saying that, Mario? Help me out. The Tigers. The Tigers have a runner in scoring position.
Well, what it's done here is it's gotten the Tigers fans involved early, like it happened last night. They got the Let's Go Tigers chants going already for Miguel Cabrera. Checks his swing, ball one.
I think Mother Nature helped the Wrigley Field hometown gang last night with that 2 hour 17-minute rain delay, because Tiger fans came out and they were very energetic early. Of course, the Tigers put up some runs early.
That always helps.
And then that rain kind of just dampened the mood.
Well, we were here for quite a while last night, but it doesn't matter how long it takes. The Tigers got a victory in the ball game. 1 ball and no strikes on Miguel Cabrera. Tigers looking to strike early here against Lester. Miggy in the ball game last night had a double in the first inning. And he looks at a ball outside. 2-0. The Bernstein advantage brings us this matchup here between Lester and Cabrera. And ouch, look at these numbers.
That's impressive right there. Miguel Cabrera has owned John Lester. Of course, he's owned a lot of the best pitchers in the game when you're at the top of the game yourself.
The 2-0. Miggy looks at a strike on the outer edge. Cabrera's double last night was initially ruled a home run. Then they looked at it and a fan reached over and interfered with the ball. So Cabrera was given a double, not a homer. His only hit last night. Swing and a miss, and a big off balance rip there by Miggy, which is not something you normally see. 2-2. J.D. Martinez waiting on deck. Again, Victor Martinez not in the lineup tonight. No DH here in the National League Park. Here's the 2-2. Off the plate, 3-2 now on Cabrera.
That last pitch, just a great indication of what's at stake here. John Lester has that kind of command. He threw the ball maybe an inch or two off the plate to see if by chance he could get Miguel to swing out of the zone. And of course, what makes Miguel so good is he doesn't do that. And so they reload and do it again.
In the air to center field on a line, and Fowler comes in to make a basket catch. 2 outs.
Miguel hit that ball right on the end of the bat. Almost sounded like he might have cracked the bat.
So it'll take a 2-out hit from J.D. Martinez. 288 this year. J.D. hit a first inning home run last night. His 31st of the year. Modest 3-game hit streak now for Martinez.
I get a kick. They're wearing the throwback uniforms, all except for the shoes.
Right.
I promise you, in 45, they didn't have those.
Are you sure? There's a check swing. He did not go. Yeah, they were probably the black cleats back then with the stirrups. Nothing quite as bright as this. Or that.
Or that, yeah.
Now the 1-0. On the edge. Boy, again, Lester hitting the outside corner. 1-1.
When Lester is good, he rarely misfires over the plate. He will paint the corners inside and out, up and down, change speeds, but doesn't miss on the plate.
Strike called. 1-2. JD 52 RBIs in his last 56 games. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. That'll end the inning. Tigers get a one-out double, but strand a man. Lester fans too. Heating, cooling, and electrical.
And Daniel Norris is making his 9th start of the season, 4th as a member of the Tigers. He made 2 career appearances, including 1 start versus the National League with an 0-1 record. So everything's kind of new for Daniel. He's going to face this lineup for the first time and face the Cubs and be at Wrigley Field for the first time.
And here is that lineup presented by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers for Chicago tonight. They've got Fowler, Schwarber, and Bryant in the top 3 spots. Bryant leads all rookies with 66 driven in. Rizzo, Soler, Castro in the middle. Ross, Lester batting 8th, and Addison Russell is batting 9th. Fowler digs in. Here we go. The Cubs bat in the bottom of the first. Strike 1 on Dexter.
Fowler had a pair of hits and a pair of walks in last night's game.
And he was able to extend his hitting streak to 6 in a row. Chasing the high heat there. No balls, 2 strikes. Fowler also drew a couple of base on balls. He is doing a lot more of that recently. The 0-2 is high. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Daniel Norris, 22 years of age. Johnson City, Tennessee, his hometown. Swing and a miss. And Fowler is out of there, 1 gone. Here is the defense for the Tigers, presented by Beaumont Health. In the outfield, it's Ghost in the middle, Davis in left, 1 error in the last calendar year. Martinez in right, Castellanos, Cabrera on the corners, Iglesias, Kinsler up the middle. Norris, McCann, the Tigers battery tonight. Here is Kyle Schwarber, who homered in last night's game.
Well, Schwarber we're talking about now is a guy that likes fastballs, and Norris starting this game off with the high heat.
There's a strike, 94.
Great location right there. That'll take away the power of a lot of hitters when you're able to paint that outside corner down and away.
Schwarber's home run last night off Buck Farmer went about halfway up the bleachers in right field. He has really massive power. He's obviously still a young kid, just called up. Here's a wave and a miss.
Real good breaking ball there, changing speeds and location. Down and away and off speed breaking ball.
1-2.
McCann going right back to it.
Missed outside, 2-2. Well, you've got Norris at 22 years of age. Schwarber as well is only 22. As the young talent continues to climb to the big leagues.
Crazy how baseball can be. Norris, of course, signed by the Blue Jays, came over in that David Price deal just before the trade deadline, and maybe was going to be a little bit backlogged in the Blue Jay organization, but because of the Tigers had interest in his ability, he gets the quick route to the big leagues and gets a chance to pitch here now.
Swing and a miss, and he dusts Schwarber with a fastball up. A couple of strikeouts for Daniel, pretty impressive.
Yeah, that one tied him up after going down and away with a breaking ball. That 92-mile-an-hour fastball looked about 98, and he just climbs the ladder. Schwarber swings underneath it.
So with 2 outs, here is Chris Bryant, who is batting in the 3 spot tonight. He was a little bit lower in the lineup last night against the righty Sanchez. Bryant was 0 for 4, had a walk. Fouled away, 1 ball, 1 strike. When you look at what Chris Bryant was able to do in the minor leagues last year, it's very stunning. 43 home runs, 110 RBIs. Massive numbers. Keep in mind they don't play into September in the minor leagues, so their schedule is about 20 fewer games.
It is amazing. Of course, there is a significant difference, I think, in the last few years between AAA baseball and the major leagues, especially in the pitching department. You see guys that are touching the mid-90s to 100 miles an hour at the big league level. You don't see that many of them in the minor leagues. But as Chris Bryant came to the plate, I was just thinking, reminding myself of a manager that I played for in Minnesota. He would always tell us, be ready for the first pitch. How do you get ready for coming off the bench? How do you get ready for a 95-mile-an-hour fastball? I mean, you don't see those in batting practice.
Right.
Tom Kelly used to say, be ready for that first pitch.
Drilled to center field, a base hit. Sharply hit ball from Chris Bryant. The Cubs have their first hit. We'll bring up Anthony Rizzo. Rizzo has 70 RBIs to lead the Cubs. He had a couple of RBIs last night, finishing 1 for 5. And batting a solid .295 for Chicago. They'll play the shift against the left-handed batter. One ball, no strikes. The different shift. Normally Castellanos would go to the other side of the infield and Iglesias would stay home, but now it's Iglesias moving over against the lefty. The 1-0. 2 balls, no strikes on Anthony Rizzo.
I think typical of most young pitchers that get their opportunity under the age of 25. We're talking about a guy like Daniel Norris. Obviously, his God-given talent is what got him to the big leagues in a hurry. And what will keep him here is his ability to make adjustments and be able to start commanding his, not only his primary pitch, which is his fastball, but his secondary pitch, slider and off-speed changeup.
And he's gone 3-0 now on Rizzo.
I was watching some video because I haven't seen Daniel throw, and I just wanted to get a good idea of some of the stuff that he has. And what I saw in a lot of the video is his inconsistency. He can strike guys out because they're swing and miss pitches hitters will chase.
He's swinging on 3-0 and he pops it up left side of the infield. Here comes Castellanos, and he'll make the play to end the inning. Rizzo is out, so are the Cubs. 1 in the books. Still no score.
Back at Wrigley Field, sure, the Tigers and the Cubs have met a bunch in interleague play now, but the most famous meeting they had was in the 1945 World Series, and that World Series was, of course, in October, just weeks after Japan surrendered to the U.S. and ended World War II. And the reason you're seeing the guys wearing different uniforms is that they're paying tribute to the 1945 participants of the World Series, and it's all to raise awareness and to benefit the National World War II Museum in New Orleans. A great job by the Tigers and the Cubs in concert once they realized that they're meeting the 70th anniversary of the last time they met in a World Series. Mario, Jack.
Pretty cool. There's a drive into right field, hit pretty well, and turning on it is the right fielder Soler, and it's going to go. That ball just carried out to right, and the Tigers have a 1-0 lead.
Castellanos, a lot like J.D. Martinez. He got a ball away, and he went with it, and he went with it with authority. Soler just turned and looked, like Mario just said, and very impressive. Again, the Tigers score first.
Soler looked like he was just cruising back to possibly make a play on that ball, and it was long gone. So the Tigers get an early run here on the 12th home run by Castellanos. And the Tigers had their home run shoes on last night. They hit 2 in the first, 1 in the second. That is the 5th home run to right field for Castellanos.
You're seeing more and more major league hitters take a pitch that used to be an absolute out, a ball down and away like Lester threw to Nick, and you see him driving it all the way over the fence in right field. It just makes you wonder why more and more guys aren't straightened up a little bit and pitch more inside. Lester lives on the outside part of the plate. That's his game. And now McCann on first base.
So McCann with a single. The Tigers open the second with back-to-back hits. One of them left the yard. Here's Iglesias, who also had a really good game last night. He was 4 for 5. Tigers had 19 hits last night. There's a strike called on Jose. Now they are facing a guy in Lester tonight who had, coming into this game, had made 4 straight home starts. So this is his 5th in a row. But in his last 5 was 4-0 with an ERA just a touch over 2. So he was as good as they've had. Low and in, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, he's been on top of his game lately. And with that being said, the Tigers have done fairly well against Lester. And they whacked out a bunch of hits last night. They're on a good offensive streak right now, and seems to continue here in the top half of the second inning.
Bouncing ball foul, third base side. Well, if the Tigers combine for 3 or more home runs in this game, and it's looking like that could be a good possibility. Bring a copy of the box score to a participating Arby's location tomorrow. Get a free small order of curly fries. Tigers took care of that early last night. 3 home runs in the first 2 innings. Iglesias backs out of there. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That 4-hit game last night for Iglesias was his 3rd 4-hit game of the year. That's why he has been at or above 300 most of this season. The 2-2. Foul that one off.
One thing that I've noticed over the years about guys that hit 300 year in and year out is when you make that perfect pitch, a pitcher's pitch, they're able to foul it off and stay alive. And they just have this uncanny ability to do that. You think that most guys that hit 250, they'll roll a ball over. It'll be in play, a ground ball, but the great hitters foul it back.
And he got him, strike 3. Iglesias knew it. 3rd strikeout of the game now for Lester.
Yeah, that one locked him up. Fastball, it really cut the plate in half, but it was down in the zone.
Borderline, but right on the inside part of the plate. Here's Anthony Gose. In tight at third base, Chris Bryant, in case Gose is thinking bunt. He used that to his advantage last night in the 8th inning. A bunt single got it rolling for the Tigers, and he drags this one to the right side. No one will have a play. They will get the out at second base, though. McCann has forced his second.
That's the risk you kind of take if you're Anthony Gose. You get the ball by Lester. It was a great bunt to get the ball by Lester. But Rizzo, very heads up there, was able to get to the ball and throw it to the shortstop covering and get the lead runner McCann. There was going to be no play at first base. And an out's recorded, and they get the lead runner.
And being left-handed certainly came in handy there for Mr. Rizzo. So with 2 outs, the runner at first. Daniel Norris will look at a ball outside, 1-0. We had mentioned that Norris is a really good athlete. We've shown over and over that diving play he made in his first Tiger start in Baltimore, but he can swing the bat a little bit too. Did so in batting practice, putting on a show for a pitcher at least. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, see, he's close enough removed from high school where they still swing it.
Sure.
You know, when he gets 35, we'll see what that hack looks like.
Skills diminish.
You get to a point where you don't even want to run to first base. You hope they don't bunt.
There's a ball driven in the air to center.
Look at that.
It's going to go over the head of Fowler, and that ball is gone to dead center. Daniel Norris has homered to make it 3-0 Detroit. Holy cats. Did you see that? Wow.
Well, that's up there with the big boys right there. When you can go straight away center field.
I mean, that's unbelievable.
Well, you talked about what an athlete he is and the fact that he swings it pretty good. I didn't know how good, Mario, but now I know.
I do too. I mean, it's one thing to put on a show in BP. That right there was ridiculous. It's 3-0 Tigers. A stunned buzz in the ballpark right now, and well, he's going to get his due. They're going to wait on him now. 3-0 Detroit. Sanchez checking out the bat. Victor making sure he's got all he needs. How about that? Not only does he hit it out, but he hits it out to center field. Two homers in this inning for the Tigers here in the second. They lead 3-0. One and two on Rajay, who struck out in the first. The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Rajay went around. Ross will throw down to complete the strikeout. Big inning for the Tigers. They go deep twice. You expect Castellanos to do it. He went to right field. But how about Daniel Norris? A drive to center. And the Tigers lead 3-0. Norris has homered in his first big league at bat. A 2-run shot to dead center. Castellanos also with a home run. And Norris goes back to work with a strike to Jorge Soler. It'll be Soler, then Castro, and then David Ross. The 0-1 pitch. Pulled to the left side, cut off at third by Castellanos. One gone. Well, it's worth another look, isn't it?
Well, my goodness, you're definitely not expecting this, but I mean, he's absolutely squared that ball up. His first plate appearance, a home run. That's going to put him in the class of some of the greatest that ever played. And like yesterday's game, 2 home runs, 3 runs scored for the Tigers to lead off the scoring in the game.
And there was really no emotion on his face, as if he expected to do that. That not only was his first big league at bat, but his first professional at bat, period, minors or big leagues.
Well, Daniel Norris is a different cat.
That he is.
I mean, obviously, he's had some life experiences that most people don't go through. So I'm not sure that kind of thing is going to excite him too much. I think the reaction by his teammates in the dugout is probably more surprising than the fact that he hit it.
Here's the 2-0 pitch. There's a strike called on Starlin Castro. 2-1 the count.
Yeah, a lot of fastballs early here for Norris, and why not? He's been getting outs. He struck out the first 2 hitters of the game with fastballs.
2-2. Castro these days playing second base for the Cubs. He was their starting shortstop the last several years. All-star. Has had a couple of really big seasons offensively, but this year Addison Russell taking over that position recently.
A couple good off-speed pitches, and what makes those good is it's kept them down in the zone. You can get hitters thinking fastball knee high, and that pitch, when it dies at the end, just enough. They're way out in front. They're not going to have any power left in their swing when they're diving for the ball way out in front.
In the air to right field. Martinez to the warning track to make the catch. There are 2 gone. With more on that home run from Daniel Norris, we check in again with John Keating.
Mario, we had no idea this was coming, but we did see what Daniel Norris did in batting practice yesterday, and so we asked some of his teammates about it, and J.D. Martinez said, well, all the pitchers think they can hit until they actually get into a game, and then he called Norris over, which you really don't do on a game day, and said, hey, I understand you can hit a little bit. They're asking me about you hitting. Did you go to college? No, only high school. So it's a bit of a stunner to everybody in this dugout, but all those are stunned are wearing smiles at the same time. Alex Wilson said, well, he hits a lot of them, and when they leave the cage, they all go out. But there's a bunch of them at his feet that never leave the cage.
Well, that one, had there been a cage, would have left it easily. And I think the word stun is a good way to describe it. What a terrific moment for Daniel Norris.
He certainly will never forget his first plate appearance.
Never, ever. Swing and a miss. Awkward swing there by David Ross in a 1-2-3 inning for Norris. Tigers baseball tonight from Wrigley Field, presented by Bell Tire. now for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag Detroit Data Strong Fan. You just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Tigers fans had a whole lot of fun here last night despite the rain, and they're off to a pretty good start here tonight.
Yeah, I think tonight is going to be a topper for them. A lot of energy in this ballpark. There always is. That's what makes Wrigley a special place. One of the few ballparks that's built in a neighborhood of a downtown area.
Well, John Lester will go to work now as we head to the top of the third. It'll be Kinsler, Cabrera, Martinez. And a strike called on Ian Kinsler. He had a two-base hit back in the first. Average up to 305 now for Kinsler.
Well, Ian had 6 plate appearances yesterday. He got 5 straight hits, and then he flew out to center field to sacrifice RBI in his last plate appearance. Leads off today's game with a double, so he has just really been spanking the ball here at Wrigley.
Well, really, the second half has been outstanding for Kinsler. He now has 144 hits on the year. He came in third in the American League in hits. The 2-1. There's another base hit the other way.
Stay hot.
Literally cannot get him out. Leadoff man on.
It's always a good indication, and you can see it more and more from guys when they're able to go the other way. They're not pull happy. They're not just looking for balls on one side of the plate. They're able to go with pitches. You see the head that's still and the swing with total focus. That's why you hit as well as Ian Kinsler's hit here in the second half.
It wasn't always that way. I think he's made a conscious effort this year to go the other way quite a bit more. And the numbers are showing that as Cabrera stands in. Lester deals outside 1-0. Cabrera fly to center, his first at bat, 0 for 1. Lester, a big free agent signing in the offseason by Chicago. 6-year contract with an option for 2021.
Well, it's kind of known around baseball that John Lester has a little bit of the yips in throwing over to first base. He leads the major leagues in stolen bases against, and he just doesn't throw to first. He has a very quick step to home, but let's see some of the throws he's tried to make this year. Yeah, that wasn't very pretty, and that one was just as ugly. And I'm being told that he might make another effort. He's really been working on it. They actually had a catcher at first base with a catcher's glove squatted down. It's a fundamental that you just have to get through, and it's a mind game for him right now.
Well, the saving grace for Lester, at least, is that he is quick to the plate. Yeah. Otherwise, it'd be a mess.
And what he is, number one, he's left-handed, so he's looking at the runner, and he has to change his pause. He can go quick. Every time he goes home, he still has a slide step, so his actual time to home plate is fairly quick, but he still has to change his time of how long he holds the ball.
And Cabrera will take a walk, and now the first two have reached here in the third. Well, stay tuned to Tigers Live. Following the game, we'll select the Fox Sports Detroit Tigers Player of the Game, presented by McDonald's Steak and Egg Burritos. And already a couple of candidates. Daniel Norris has to be at the top of the list right now.
I was going to say, you can take Castellanos, and nothing against Nick's home run. That was very impressive, but I think it was topped a little bit by a guy we never expected to have that kind of power.
Well, stay tuned. There's a lot of baseball to be played. Here's J.D. Martinez. Tigers trying to bust this one open a little bit early here. Already lead 3-0. J.D. struck out in the first.
In the first inning, of yesterday's ball game. JD went center field, and it was further than Norris's home run. Up on top of that ivy, there's a little restaurant or something out there in center field. Here's the pitch that JD hit, and where it landed, up on top of the roof up there, that little seating area.
Martinez still trying to get the feeling back into his foot. The guys that have swings like JD tend to do that quite a bit, but this year, I mean, he has fouled one off his knee. He did that in Baltimore, which really, well, in fact, it took him out of the game an inning later, and then he's very next day he fouled one off his ankle. I mean, he's got a lot of protection down there, but there's only so many areas he can protect.
Yeah, other than wearing steel-toed shoes, which are going to make you run a little bit slower. Not much you can do. You can see he's got that ankle pad to help his shin area. It's on his left leg.
Way outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. '31st home run of the year last night for Martinez. He's also played well defensively this year. I think he has surprised some folks. He has 13 outfield assists, tied for the most among outfielders. And again, Lester missing. 2-1.
Lester a little bit out of his rhythm right now. The Tigers have done a great job battling through the second inning, scoring 3, and now a base hit and a walk here in the third. And he's trying to be very fine.
2-2.
I think he understands that he cannot allow another run. He's got to keep it close enough to be within striking distance for his offense to come back and help him out.
There is Castellanos waiting on deck. He's already homered in this game. Outside, 3 balls, 2 strikes. And with 2 on, nobody out, we'll see what Lester comes back with here against JD Martinez. Here's the 3-2. Runner breaks to third. It's a ball low, ball 4, and that will load the bases. Second walk in this inning now for the left-hander Lester. Hey, tomorrow the Tigers host the Rangers at Comerica Park, 7:08 p.m. The first 10,000 fans 18 and older receive a free 2015 Tigers All-Star poster. For tickets, visit tigers.com or call 866-66-TIGER. So Lester now digging himself a really big jam here in the third.
Castellanos homered his last time up. He's got bases loaded here.
Drives one in the air to left field. He's hit well. He might have gotten another one, and he did. It's a grand slam for Nick Castellanos. Oh, the Tigers are putting on a show here at Wrigley.
Well, good for Nick. That time he got a ball that he was able to pull, and he did just that. Schwarber turned around, kind of knew at the crack of the bat it had a chance. And a 7-run lead now for Detroit.
The Tigers came into Wrigley Field facing one of the hottest teams in baseball, having a tremendous month of August. And they are absolutely putting on a show now, 7-0. A 2-homer game for Castellanos. And a 5 RBI game as well.
Well, what's amazing about this crazy game, we talked about John Lester and how well he's pitched in his recent stretch, 5 games, 4-0. And today in the first 3 innings, the Tigers just light him up.
Russell throws out McCann. 1 gone. Yeah, Lester was in a really good stretch.
Breaking ball. Castellanos again. Great concentration and focus. Watch his head. Just absolutely right on the baseball. And puts another real good swing. This time pulling the ball. Second home run of the game.
The first time Castellanos has had a multi-homer game. That'll put a smile on your face. 7-0 Detroit. Lester deals a strike to Iglesias. Cubs were 12-2 in the month of August entering this series. They had a 9-game winning streak snapped on Sunday as Richard, the left-hander, warms up. They had won 8 straight at home before last night's loss, and Joe Maddon's team has been stunned here again tonight. Ground ball left side deep in the hole. Russell gets rid of it quickly. He is safe at first base. Pulled him off.
What a great job on the receiving end for Anthony Rizzo. I haven't seen a stretch like that in a long time. And he was pulled off just a little bit, allowing Iglesias to get on first base. I think that'll probably be ruled an infield hit.
That left foot just off the bag. Right there, good shot. So the Tigers add another hit to their total. An infield single for Iglesias. Here's Anthony Gose. Well, here's what the Tigers have done against Lester and why they have not been intimidated by him. 17 earned runs in his last 11 innings. There goes the runner. Here's the throw to nobody in particular. And a steal for Iglesias.
Well put. I think there's a little mix up there between Addison Russell, the shortstop, and Starlin Castro, the second baseman. Nobody covered the bag.
Well, that was the Chevy high strength steal, and it was quite an easy one for Iglesias.
It's a good jump, and you can see that neither one of the shortstop or second baseman went to the bag.
I think it's clear from the get-go the Tigers certainly want to take advantage of the fact that Lester does not throw over as many times as they possibly can. And really, when you look ahead to possible postseason for them, that could be an issue in the postseason.
Well, now that the word is out, I mean, there was a lot of people in baseball that knew that as a member of the Boston Red Sox, Lester wasn't throwing over. But not everybody really did anything about it. Some teams just don't really care. I mean, they've got to have the right people to steal bases anyway, and they have to have good jumps.
Lester had not thrown over to first base in 2 years before this season. Gose waits on a 1-0. 2-0 on Anthony.
Well, that's just it. You've got to exploit it, and the Tigers are doing a little bit of that in today's game. David Ross, a veteran catcher, he's been around a long time, and he does not have the throwing arm that a lot of the younger catchers in the league have. So he depends on that quick step.
Popped up left side of the infield. Addison Russell to the grass. 2 gone. Here comes Daniel Norris. Norris became the first Tiger since Jason Johnson in 05 to homer. First Tiger pitcher in 05. And that was at Dodger Stadium. Daniel looks at ball 1. Well, he became the 19th pitcher in Major League history to homer in his first career at bat. First ever to do it at Wrigley Field. And Wrigley Field's been around a while.
Well, interleague play hasn't been around all that long, so there was a long time where American League pitchers didn't hit here.
Good point.
Unless it was 1945 and 35, and what was the other two? Back when Keats was watching.
07 and 08.
Yeah, when he was watching those uniforms run around the bases.
2 balls, 1 strike. Well, the Cubs haven't been in the postseason since 2008. They lost in the NLDS to the Dodgers. And now Lester has gone to 3-1 on Daniel Norris. He's going to walk him. How about that? Lester snatches the baseball back.
You know, it almost looked like he was being very, very careful with him, and it's probably because of that right there. That was the home run that Norris hit straight away center field, and that's going to be the end of the night for John Lester. Joe Madden coming out.
Did not see this coming tonight. The Tigers 7-0, and they put a pounding on John Lester. The home run by Daniel Norris, but the walk to Norris will knock him out. Wallside Windows pitching change. We'll be back. In this game, a walk to Daniel Norris has signaled the end for John Lester, and on now is Clayton Richard out of the bullpen.
Stats for Richard this season.
He'll face Rajay Davis. This is the 9th man to bat in this inning for the Tigers. A grand slam by Nick Castellanos. Two on and 2 out. It is fouled off. Clayton Richard was acquired from the Pirates for cash on July the 3rd. Swing and a miss.
Now Richard missed the entire 2014 season and underwent some shoulder surgery, and so Cubs probably being very careful with him. Number of innings this year, how they bring him in out of the pen.
Both teams had to go deep into the bullpen last night because of the 2-hour 17-minute rain delay. And of course the Tigers called up Drew Verhagen today, sent down Jeffrey Marte to give them another arm.
Richard, one of the few pitchers that did not pitch in last night's game.
Bouncer deep in the hole. It's short. Russell, great play. His throw is going to be off target, and that will load the bases. Infield hit for Rajay. Hey, just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game. It's brought to you by Miller Lite. I ask you now, as we look at our player of the game, is Norris still your leader, and now is Castellanos correct?
Well, that's a good question. How about if we just let it play out?
All right.
We'll talk about it.
Fair enough.
It's nice to have options.
Here's Kinsler. He's got 2 hits tonight, single double. In there, strike 1.
Right now, I think the edge has got to go to Castellanos. He's got 5 RBI in this game. Norris only 2.
Norris hit one out to center field in his first professional at bat.
Pretty impressive.
High, towering fly ball. Fowler is on the move to right center, calling it. He'll go to the warning track. And that'll end the inning. What a night for Nick Castellanos tonight. Solo shot in the second off Lester. But he outdid himself here in the third. Grand slam home run. Tigers up 7-0. And you'll see in his first 2 starts as a Tiger, Jack, he was a lot 4-seam fastball, but he switched that up in his last start against KC.
Yeah, I'm sure whoever was charting that is unbelievable vision, because they could differentiate the difference between a 4-seamer and a 2-seamer as it releases his hand at 98 miles an hour. That's pretty impressive.
There's a bouncing ball slowly to second. Kinsler with a quick flip, and Richards out 1 away. So what are you saying? You're not believing it?
Well, I'm just calling it a fastball. And unless they literally have the camera focused in his glove while he's gripping the ball, I don't know how they can tell the difference.
Well, probably by miles per hour, I would think.
No.
2-seamers and 4-seamers? Come on.
I'm not buying that. It's just me, and I can have a little bit of fun with it, can I?
You can, absolutely. We're still going to point out the fact that a lot more sinker sliders.
Yeah, and you know what? It's working for him. It's certainly working here tonight. He's throwing a lot of fastballs, but he's also thrown some good changeups tonight.
Addison Russell looks at a strike. Russell's first hit bat of the night.
He's got a lot of runs to work with right now, and the one thing that Daniel Norris needs to do is stay ahead of hitters, challenge them, continue to do what he's doing. He's mixing pitches well.
He allowed only a single to Chris Bryant in the first inning so far, the only base runner.
I think James McCann has a very good feel as a catcher of what hitters are trying to do, and that can certainly help a young pitcher. A lot of young pitchers really don't have that experience to read a hitter and see what the hitter is trying to do, so they basically go with their ability and have to trust their catcher.
Ooh, that'll bounce in and drill McCann. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And McCann took one off the left shoulder there, and that's going to smart a little bit. Catchers are a different breed. They take some serious abuse during a ball game.
Off the end of the bat, that'll go foul. 2-2 on Addison Russell. Well, Daniel Norris earned his first major league victory in another very impressive stadium, the Yankee Stadium. And yes, it's the new Yankee Stadium and not the old one, but still a big stage in New York. He earned his first big league win in his first start this year there. He's a member of the Blue Jays. Out in front, struck him out. And there are 2 gone. Time for a game break now. We check in with Trevor Thompson. Yeah, he's got nothing on Daniel Norris. Thanks, Trev. There's a ball high and away to Fowler.
Well, the Yankees won today, beating the Twins in New York. So Toronto is going to have to come back and win that game if they're going to stay a game behind New York in that race in the East.
1 ball, 1 strike. We were talking about Norris and pitching in venerable stadiums. We talked about Yankee Stadium, got his first win here at Wrigley, and John Keating passes along that he made his major league debut in Boston at Fenway and struck out David Ortiz. So
well, probably 3 of the most notorious. I don't know, you want to throw Dodger Stadium on that list, but yeah, Yankee Stadium, Fenway, and Wrigley, those are the big dogs. 3 of the biggest cities in America.
Driven to right field. J.D. Martinez on the run, still going, looks up, and that ball is gone. Home run for Dexter Fowler. He goes the other way, and the Cubs are on the board. 7-1. Fowler has a little pop. That's his 13th.
It's kind of funny the way this ballpark is designed. It actually jets out a little bit right down the lines. 355 down the left field line and the right field line, I believe.
We have had 9 home runs in this series between the 2 clubs already. We have not even completed a game and a half. Wrigley Field is not always a place where the ball jumps as much as it has the last 2 nights. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Schwarber, and he looks at a strike. 1-1.
Well, we live in a generation where umpires rarely call that pitch off the plate on the inside corner, and pitchers have to stay away more than they ever have in any other generation. I think more and more minor league coordinators and pitching coaches are teaching kids to pitch away. And when hitters get in the comfort zone and never having to move their feet, they can start diving out over the plate, and you're going to see more home runs. They're very comfortable not knowing that they're never going to have to get out of the way of a pitch.
And breaking ball missing outside, 3-2.
With that being said, I don't know what it is about Wrigley here, but the balls have been flying.
Well, we mentioned that watching batting practice yesterday, it seemed like nothing was getting out of the ballpark. There were a ton of home runs last night. Here's the 3-2. Lifted back out of play. In the driver's seat, brought to you by Kia. I want to talk about Kyle Schwarber here, the first Cubs rookie in 90 seasons with at least a 300 average, 9 or more homers, and 30 or more RBIs in 35 career games. Really impressive.
We'll have to ask again John Keating about Manny Brooks. I'm sure they were neighbors growing up together.
That was in the early 1900s. Keating is not that old. Hey, Keats, you remember watching old Mandy play in the 1900s?
I'm sitting here. I can hear everything being said. I'm just taking shots.
Well, you're talking about those uniforms
worse than I do.
You're talking about those uniforms that you wore as a kid.
Well, I'm old. I don't mind telling you that. But and you and I, kind sir, are not that far apart. But.
Stay tuned, Keats. I'm sure more will be coming flying your way.
This is good stuff.
Hey, we're having a good night, Keats. Thanks.
Here's Chris Bryant now. He had a single in his first at bat.
Norris needs to just figure out a way to get an out here. Get the boys back in the dugout. Keep the pressure on the Cubs.
Here's the 0-1. Driven high and deep to left field. Rajai going back. Track. Wall. Leaps. Can't get it. It's gone. Well, fasten your seatbelt. It's going to be one of those nights.
Interesting again, a different unique feature here at Wrigley is the fence above the ivy actually protrudes back into the field. And I got to believe that because of that protrusion right there, that gave Chris Bryant another home run, because that ball probably wouldn't have cleared the brick wall and might have come back into play. I don't know if Rajai Davis would have caught that ball, but watch how this hits the fence from the top side, and it's just beyond the reach of Rajai's glove. In fact, it might have hit the ivy on the other side of the fence.
How about that? That thing just cleared into the basket at left field. It's now 7-3. A couple of home runs here for the Cubs. Rajai still looking out at the wall out there. It was hit so high that you thought there might be a chance where Davis could get there and get it at the wall. There's a strike called on Rizzo. Now the 0-1. Well, the two swings of the bat here by Fowler and Bryant have gotten the Cubs fans back into this game. Rizzo popped up his only at bat, and he looks at a ball outside. And Rizzo swung on 3-0 in the first inning with a runner aboard and popped up. Two and one on their leading RBI man, 70 driven in this year. 2-2. Castellanos has cut to the other side of the infield. He's in short right now as they play the shift. Rizzo last night hit into it a couple of times. Here's the 2-2. Slow roller back up the middle. Hits the ball. That thing looked like it might have a lot of spin on it. Apparently it did.
I don't know if it took a bad hop or not, but it looked like it kicked and hit the heel of his glove.
E4. Right off the heel. So it started out as a rather routine inning. Ground out strikeout has turned into a homer, walk, homer, and now an error. There's Jorge Soler. Strike called on Soler. 5-3 ground out his first time up. He's not done a whole lot in the series. 0 for 5. The 7-0 Tigers lead has been shaved now to 7-3. Way outside, 1-1. Mid-90s fastball from Daniel Norris.
Yeah, it looks like Norris just trying to reach back now, and he's got to be careful with that. He's still got to be able to focus and change speeds. You don't want to just become a thrower here because you get emotionally attached to the fact that you just gave up 3 runs with 2 home runs.
Strike call. One and 2. Norris had a 1-2-3 second, had retired 6 in a row prior to the home run by Fowler. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Soler's out of there, and that'll end the inning. However, it's a big inning for the Cubs to get back into it.
Off half of the second inning, Tigers already up by 1. Daniel Norris greets John Lester with a straight center field home run, 2-run score. Then Nick Castellanos, top of the third, hits a grand slam off of Lester. Cubs come back in the bottom of the third with a home run by Fowler, and then followed two hitters later by Chris Bryant hitting one out to left field. So it's bombs away here again at Wrigley.
Yeah, that it is. So the Cubs now back in this game. 7-3 is our score. Clayton Richard goes back to work. He will face Miguel Cabrera here in the 4th inning. Miggy looks at ball 1. Richard took over for the starter John Lester after Lester walked Daniel Norris.
Why do I get the feeling that Mickey's going to get in on this little home run barrage?
Yeah, he just might. And for a brief moment last night he did, but they called his home run a double because of fan interference. Low, and the count now 2-1 on Miguel. There's the wind, perhaps having an effect on the proceedings again here tonight, as Richard stays outside and away. 3-1. Waiting on deck, J.D. Martinez. Tigers sent 10 men to the plate in the third. And they scored 4 times. Look out. That gets into the seats quickly. 3-2. Everyone is all right.
Heck yeah, they're on camera.
Yeah, got the souvenir to prove it. Another one back out of play. Wrigley Field is inundated with Tigers orange. Just as it was in 2012, just as it was in 2006 when this team played here as well, those 2 years. The 3-2 again. Bouncing ball back up the middle. Russell on the move. Nice scoop. Miggy is out, 1 gone. Check in with John Keating now.
Mario and Jack, you guys were talking about the basket that hangs off the outfield fence all the way around the ballpark. I did some inquiring about that because it is a peculiar aspect of this ballpark, and I'm told people were actually walking along the ledge, and after a ginger ale or two, as is known to happen here in Chicago, they were falling onto the field of play, and so the baskets are to keep the folks on the other side of the fence.
Tell me you're kidding me.
I'm not.
Seriously.
You know, there's more than one way to skin the cat.
Pray tell, Jack, how else would you handle that problem? Well, that's interesting.
The old Metrodome in Minnesota, they had plexiglass. A lot like the hockey rinks.
There's a ball outside to
not real
JD
fan
Martinez.
friendly, so they got rid of that.
Yeah.
I think this is, well, it's an option. I don't.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's pretty much a people catcher, I suppose.
What they could have done is put like a 2-foot fence right on top of the brick, going straight up, and then just put a little trickle electrical in there, and they couldn't lean on it.
Yeah, we don't want to do that. There's all kinds of lawsuits involved with that. There's a roller to second. Castro has it.
I said a tickle.
2 gone. What's going on? Oh, in between innings, they had to go and get the ball.
I wonder if they give it to a fan. Come
Probably
on.
not.
Come on. Oh, come on.
Negative. Here's Castellanos. What a night for Castellanos. 2 homers, one of them a grand slam. Richard throws a strike, 0-1.
Every ballpark's unique, and that's something that's totally unique about Wrigley here. The ivy on the brick.
Boy, a big night for Castellanos. Just got bigger. That's going to be extra bases down the line. Nick on his way to second. He'll pull in with a stand-up double.
Having a night. Tigers last night. Iglesias with 4 hits. Kinsler with 5 hits. And already in this game, Castellanos with 3 hits. Tigers came to Chicago with their hitting shoes on.
Here is McCann now to try and drive in this 2-out run. Single ground out tonight for James. And you're looking at ball 1 missing outside. Tigers came into play tonight 4.5 behind the wild card, second wild card team, the Angels, who jumped over Baltimore last night. A little bit foul. And so with obviously over a month of games to be played here, better than 40 games, the Tigers certainly not out of it if they can just string together a portion of the schedule, or they win some in a row.
No question about that, Mario. 4 games can be made up in a week if you're playing very good baseball and you get hot at the right time. The Tigers just have to start winning series. You do that, go home and take care of business.
Fouled away. Well, that in itself has been an issue for the Tigers. Their home record this year is 28-30, which is a large departure from how they've played at home the last several years.
But it ain't over.
No, absolutely not. There you go. The Blue Jays and Angels right now hold on to the 2 wild card spots. Swing and a miss. So Richard pitches around the 2-out double. Tigers are done here in the 4th. Here you might notice the different uniforms both clubs are wearing tonight. They're the throwbacks to 1945 when they were celebrating here the 45 World Series between the Tigers and the Cubs, in which the Tigers won 4-3. That series began 1 month after World War II ended, in the last appearance for the Cubs in the World Series. How about that?
Yeah, Hal Newhouser won games 5 and 7. Hank Greenberg, both Hall of Famers. Big part of that World Series. Tigers got that American flag patch on their uniform. I'm not sure the Cubs do or not.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Also notice that the Tiger caps have a huge English D on the top of their hat.
Here's the 1-1 grounded foul. It is kind of large, isn't it?
Yeah.
There it is.
It's noticeable. Right there on the crown.
Tigers tonight have 9 more hits. They had 19 last night. Joe Bandez watched his team climb back into it, though, with a couple of home run balls. Chopper right back to the mound, and right on it is Norris. Pretty good example right there of how Norris can help himself out defensively. Not an overly difficult play, but he is a really good defender.
Well, typical of a lot of pitchers, they'll spin off a little bit to one side. Left-handers will go to third base side, right-handers to the first base side. But Norris was able to regroup in a hurry. He's got pretty quick reflexes out there.
Here's David Ross. Swing and a miss. Ross did not have a very productive at bat his first time up. He struck out swinging, and it was an awkward swing. Way high from Norris.
Yeah. Ross not known for his hitting. He came in today's game hitting a .184. But he's been a very good defensive catcher and personal caddy of John Lester.
He went 1-2. Backup catcher can be a pretty good gig.
Well, they usually can really help young pitchers. They've got great experience. They're good game callers. They frame pitches. They don't all have great throwing arms, but a bunch of them do. That was gas right there.
Sure was. 94 threw it right by him.
Second strikeout for David Ross in 6 of the game. Here's our high-speed pitch brought to you by Xfinity. You can see the range. Fastball topping off at 95 and his changeup at 73. There's 22-mile-an-hour difference.
Clayton Richard down with 2 outs. His first at bat resulting in a ground out.
That'd be 27, wouldn't it?
That'd be 27.
See,
that's a good catch.
There's a lot of things you need me help me with tonight.
Mathematics is one of them.
One of those is math.
Here's the 0-1. So Norris looking for a 1-2-3 after surrendering 3 runs in the 3rd. One and 2 on Clayton Richard, the Cubs pitcher. Norris 6 strikeouts in this game. Got a piece of it. Fouled it off.
McCann just staying with the fastball away, figuring most pitchers don't go out after it. And Norris is throwing in the mid-90s with his fastball. He can just stay on the outer third. Should be able to put him away.
The chopper left side of the infield. Easy play for Castellanos. Good job by Daniel Norris. Nice bounce back fourth. Firm official legal services sponsor of Fox Sports Detroit. Bell Tire, get the lowest tire price period. Bell Tire. Myers, save big with M-Perks from Myers. Sign up at mperks.com. And by Chevrolet, find new roads. Back here at Wrigley Field on an absolutely gorgeous night here in the north side of Chicago. 7-3. Tigers have the lead, trying to sweep this short 2-game series. Daniel Norris, a nice 1-2-3 frame after giving up 3. Now the Tigers offense will go back to work.
Tigers jumped all over John Lester, the starter in today's game, and that's a little untypical of Lester. He's been pitching very well lately. You would thought you might see a little more of a pitcher's duel, but it's been a fun game. A lot of offense.
Well, the Tigers had a couple of home runs in the second, and then a grand slam from Castellanos as they built a 7-0 lead. Iglesias, an infield hit and a steal in his last at bat.
I'm sure Brad Ausmus would love to see the boys just keep adding on here. They don't want to have a big inning like they did in the third inning and then just kind of shut off the faucet.
Ground ball short. Addison Russell. Boy, Iglesias just nipped by half a step. He does not give in, man, even on routine ground balls. He is busting it down the line, one away.
Well, that should be typical, not atypical.
Very true.
That's what you're supposed to do as a major leaguer, hustle it all the way down. You can see Addison Russell made a nice play there and a strong throw and just barely got Iglesias.
Tigers looked at the replay and decided not to challenge. Wise choice. Here's Anthony Gose. Fielder's choice and a pop-up. He has scored a run. Tigers have had good luck here at Wrigley Field. Back in 2006, they swept a 3-game series here at Wrigley, and then they came back in 2012, won 2 out of 3 in that series. Rolled foul. The Tigers, of course, went on to play in the World Series both of those seasons.
07, 08, 35 and 45. And they split them 2 apiece.
Tap foul.
1984, there was so much talk about another repeat of that rivalry, that World Series between Detroit and the Cubs. Came down to the last game between the Cubs and the Padres, and the Padres ended up going to the World Series.
Here's the 2-2. 3-2. I think many thought that year the Cubs would be the Tigers' opponent. They appear to be the better team. The 1984 Cubs squad. Swing and a miss, and Gose goes down.
Let's take a look at Big Boy's big play of the game. Daniel Norris in the second inning gets a pitch on the outer half of the plate and just great extension. Drives a home run over the center field wall. His first plate appearance in the big leagues, and it ends up being a 2-run home run.
And then Lester walked him in his second at bat, and that was the end for Lester. Clayton Richards gotten ahead 0-2. And that didn't take long. He struck him out. 1-2-3 go the Tigers in the 5th inning. Tigers baseball tonight here from Wrigley Field, presented by Bell Tire.
Solid innings for Daniel Norris. He did give up a couple of home runs in the third inning. Those are the 3 runs that the Cubs have scored, but he has also had a good fastball, good changeup tonight. He's changing speeds fairly well, working extremely well with his catcher James McCann. So he needs to get one more inning to qualify for the win.
7-3 is our score as Addison Russell leads it off. Russell, then the top of the lineup, Fowler and Schwarber. Strikeout victim his first time up. And a ball high, 1 ball, 1 strike. Addison Russell, just 21 years old, former first-round pick of the Oakland Athletics. High again, 2-1. In fact, he was the A's top prospect in 13 and 14, and then came over in a deal last year. Jeff Samardzija. Ground ball toward the shortstop. Iglesias will throw him out.
Iglesias just so quick out there. Gets rid of that ball so quick that he doesn't have to have that cannon of an arm. Good job by Norris by attacking the strike zone. He's got 4 runs to work with. He needs to throw strikes.
Dexter Fowler hit a home run in his last at bat. And it got things rolling for the Cubs. They would end up scoring 3 runs in that inning. Fouled away 0-1.
Strikes and balls, the ratio there for Daniel Norris, 77 total pitches. He has struck out 6 Cub hitters today, only walked the 1. That was Schwarber in the inning in which they scored the 3 runs.
Rip to left field. That's going to get down, a base hit. Second hit of the ball game for Dexter Fowler, who came in batting .313 against left-handed pitch.
Now Fowler continues to stay hot.
It'll bring up Schwarber.
It's a big inning now for Daniel Norris. He's got a little adversity. Guy that can run at first base, 1 out. Love to see him get a ground ball here. More importantly, get ahead in the count. You don't want to put these guys in position to sit on a pitch. Some pop in the lineup, the next 3 hitters. Schwarber, Bryant, and Rizzo.
Swing and a miss. Big rip there.
Yeah, that was just strength against strength right there. Ball was up, elevated a little bit, might have been out of this sweet zone for Schwarber, but when the ball comes in and your eyes light up like they do when you see the fastball about letter high, you just want to take a rip at it.
Schwarber was the 4th overall selection in the draft last year, 2014. So he's gotten to the big leagues very quickly. In fact, he's had only 500 minor league at bats in that area. It's not many. And he's become an everyday player now at the big league level. Outside. In fact, the guy selected ahead of Schwarber in the draft in 14 was Carlos Rodon, who was pitching for the Chicago White Sox on the opposite side of town. They both have gotten to the major leagues quickly, and now here comes Brad Austin. Is something wrong here with Norris?
Uh-oh.
Matt Rankin coming out with him.
McCann ran out there. He's kind of holding his side like that dreaded oblique. Maybe he pulled something. See anything here. You saw how he grabbed his side there a little bit.
And McCann noticed it, quickly came out. I think Daniel trying to talk his skipper into staying in the game.
Well, I'd talk him into it too. I've got 4 runs to work with, and I need 2 outs to qualify for the win.
That's right.
On the other hand, Brad Ausmus has to be wise in what he does here. This guy's a big part of the Tigers' future, and you can see him grimace when he throws that. I don't know if you can fake it in front of your manager when he's 3 feet away. Yeah, he's not going to be able to continue. I think it's that side. He's holding his side there. It might be an oblique or who knows what. We'll let the doctors decide that.
You can visibly tell that he's angry. And the Tigers now are going to have to take him out of the game. So we'll see who will come in from the bullpen. Here's that last warm-up pitch. And you can see the grimace, and he's upset. They're taking him out. So Daniel Norris will fall 2 outs short of qualifying for a win in this game. And he'll walk off the field. It'll be a wall side windows pitching change. The Tigers prematurely will have to go to the bullpen here tonight. We'll be back. Apparent injury to his side, and so Tom Gorzelani has been summoned out of the bullpen for the Tigers. They're going to want the lefty here with Schwarber the batter. Then they've got Rizzo a couple of batters later. Gorzelani making his 36th appearance of the year, and so it'll give him ample opportunity to get ready. He was certainly not ready to go. The Tiger bullpen was not working with the injury.
And he'll get all the pitches he needs right now. He pitched an inning in yesterday's game. No hits allowed. Struck out 2 hitters.
Well, let's check in with John Keating while we have a chance, Keats. Well, Mario, Brad Ausmus motioned to the bullpen for a lefty, and all of a sudden Matt Boyd, the starting pitcher, assumed that he wanted him. So Boyd started trotting in and got all the way almost to the mound, and Ausmus looked up and saw who was coming in, and he waved him away. No, not you. I don't want you. he wanted the other lefty, and as I understand it, Blaine Hardy might not be able to be used today because he's been used a lot lately. So the other left-handed option is Tom Gorzelani, and recall that he came on last night after the rain delay. He was Brad's first option after Audubon Sanchez couldn't go after the 2 hours and 17-minute rainstorm that we had here.
Yeah, Kaysen, Hardy obviously would have been an option, but I think he went through upper 30s in the pitch count, so I guess he will not be available. And now we'll see what Gorzelani can do here, because this ball game now, Jack, has turned a little bit of a different turn here with still a long way to go. And here's what the bullpen did. Hardy threw 38 last night. 5
pitchers used out of the pen last night, and it looks like Brad's going to have to piece it together again tonight. Albuquerque warming up. It could be Gorzelani is going to probably face at least Schwarber here, and then Bryant, the right-hander. It'll really depend on what happens, but Albuquerque could be in there for the right-hander. Then another left-hander, Rizzo, follows. So it could be a mix and match here for a little while, but Brad's running thin on guys that haven't been used as of late.
That's why Drew Verhagen coming up from the minor leagues is big for the Tigers. He will give them a fresh arm if needed here tonight. Reinforcements. So Schwarber will step back in. The Cubs have a man on, a man out. We are in the 5th inning, 7-3. Daniel Norris disappointed as much as one can be after having a big night with the home run in his first at bat. Opportunity to get a win. Now he'll watch the rest of it. 1 ball, 1 strike is the count on Schwarber. And he takes outside. 2-1. Schwarber walked ahead of the 2-run shot by Bryant in the 3rd. Fowler measuring his lead at first base. Checked it high. Did not go, says Jerry Davis. It's 3-1.
Critical part of the game right here. You've got a nice cushion with a 4-run lead. You just don't want these Cubs to feel like they can be back in it in a hurry. Make them earn it. Outfield playing pretty much straight up. Infield doing the same.
Cubs came back from a 4-run deficit last night. The Tigers had a 6-2 lead when Chicago came storming back with 3 in the 5th, 1 in the 7th. Here's the 3-1. And he lost at ball 4. That's going to put 2 men aboard. Second walk of the game for Schwarber. Bring up Bryant.
That appears Osmus is going to stick with Gorzelani, and he will get Bryant and Rizzo.
Two-run shot for Chris Bryant. He also has a single, 2 out of 2 tonight. Now McCann will step out in front of the plate. Flashing some defensive signs. In the event the Cubs are in a running mood. Bryant's home run was his 17th. That was back in the 3rd. And on the outer edge, 0-1. Bryant was a finalist for the Golden Spikes Award, the top honor for a college baseball player when he played at San Diego. He has had this year 12 separate streaks of at least 12 games or more. That'll get away from McCann, not far enough though. 1 ball, 1 strike. Orsolani trying a new arm angle here. Of course, he tried doing that mid-season in a big league season, which obviously makes it difficult. Wasn't having success, so they suggested a different arm angle.
Not easy to adjust like that, especially in the middle of a summer. But they're trying to get a little more movement and maybe a little better command by dropping his arm down a little bit.
Now the 1-1. Swing and a miss. 1-2 on Chris Bryant. Cubs have been out hit 9-4 in this game, but they are one swing from jumping back in it. Fowler is single, Schwarber a walk. And the 1-2. Outside again, McCann down to smother it. 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes on Chris Bryant. Bluff back to second, nobody there, and Fowler scampers back.
It's always nice to let that base runner know that you're thinking about him. Not every time do your position players cover the bag in an attempt for a pickoff, but you can wheel and hold the ball and still get your point across.
Missed it outside. The Tigers are playing a bit of a shift. Ian Kinsler is trying to do his best to keep the runner close at second base, and before the pitch is delivered, he will move over a little bit.
Yeah, because of Bryant's ability to pull the ball, they've got Iglesias playing in the hole at short. Castellanos got to play fairly close to the line at third to prevent that double getting into the corner.
Now it's 3-2 with 1 out. And he walked him, and that will load the bases. Orsolani comes out of the bullpen, issues 2 bases on balls, and now here comes Jeff Jones.
Well, he's putting himself in a big, tough bind, and desperately needs a ground ball.
Anthony Rizzo, the hitter that will be next. Hey, this Friday, the Tigers take on the Texas Rangers, 7:08 p.m. Fans are invited to stay after the game for a fireworks spectacular. It's courtesy of Pepsi. For tickets, call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com. Well, it's getting a little bit hectic here in the 5th inning. Bases loaded. And here's Anthony Rizzo. 1 grand slam in his career. 0 for 2 in this game. Fowler, Schwarber, and Bryant, the base runners.
Nowhere to put him. He's got to come after him.
In there, a strike called on Rizzo. 70 RBIs leads the Chicago Cubs team. In fact, so does his 23 home runs. Pretty good against lefties, too. 342. Lefties do not bother him. Inside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You find that a little bit unusual, but really the difference in those numbers is his ability to stay with the breaking ball. From a left-hander, the ball's breaking away from him, and he might be one of those rare hitters that has a better ability to stay with the pitch than the one that comes diving in on him.
Swing and a miss. Couldn't do it there.
They got over anxious, and sometimes you've got to recognize that if you're a pitcher or catcher. You've got bases loaded, 1 swing in the back and tie the game. So maybe you throw the ball just where Gorzelani threw it to see if you can get him to chase.
So it's 1-2. Soler waiting on deck. Way outside, would not chase that one. 2-2 on Rizzo. His on base percentage against lefties this year is .462.
Wow.
I mean, you got to go back to the Barry Bonds days in the early 2000s to have a lefty who had that kind of on base percentage against left-handed pitching. He has leveled the count now at 2-2. Drill to right field, but foul. Gorzelani pressed into duty here in the 5th inning with the injury to Daniel Norris. He walked Schwarber, he walked Bryant. Norris right now is simply a spectator.
Along with about 38,000 in attendance tonight. Great crowd here at Wrigley. Tiger fans doing their part. Anxious to see what happens in this result here.
Popped him up. That'll help. Kinsler into short right field. Big out there. Runners will hold. There are 2 gone.
Huge out.
Here goes Brad now.
Well, he's going to go with the right-hander Albuquerque.
Soler, the batter due next. Albuquerque will come in. That'll be it for Gorzelani, who faces 3 batters. And as Albuquerque comes in, we'll step aside. 7-3. Tigers have the lead. 2 outs. Al Albuquerque now will come on to face Jorge Soler.
He also pitched in yesterday's game, a third of an inning.
Faced 2 batters, gave up a walk and got a fly ball. 1 earned run in his last 15 outings. Key, perhaps, turning point in this game if the Tigers can get Soler here, who is 0 for 2. But after the first pitch, fouled it away, and that one got McCann. And got in the backswing, too. Back of the helmet. Here's the 0-1. Soler is 0 for 6 in the series. Batting .265. Up and in. 2 balls, 1 strike. Cubs have loaded him up on a single and 2 walks. Swing and a miss.
Comes back with the slider and gets Soler a little anxious. He's trying to be a hero here. You can feed off that sometimes. Albuquerque's got a very good breaking ball. And I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back with it right here. 2-2 count, bases loaded, 2 out.
He'll go down the right field line, slicing into row 1.
A long half inning.
A lot of that, of course, had to do with the fact that Norris had to leave the game with an apparent side injury. We've not gotten any notice on that injury to Norris. He's still on the Tiger bench. Meanwhile, the bullpen trying to work out of the jam. And he popped him up.
That should work.
Middle of the infield. It'll be Kinsler, and they're going to leave him loaded. No runs, 1 hit, couple of walks, 3 men left. The Cubs, as promised earlier in the game, the fan photo, the data fan photo of the game has been selected. Tweet your strongest fan photo. Hashtag Detroit Data Strong Fan for a chance to have it featured in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. So the Tigers go to work now as we head to the 6th inning. And for the Tigers, top of the order, Davis leads it off. Rajay and then Kinsler and Cabrera facing Clayton Richard, who is back out there, and he misses outside 2-0. Richard has retired 7 of 8 since coming on. High fly ball right field, little juice behind it, back to the track and wall and gone. An opposite field home run for Rajay Davis.
Balls just seem to really be flying. The wind is really whipping out towards right. The flags have been steady all afternoon, and if you can get it up high enough, there seems to be some carry out that direction. Ball up, and Rajay just lifted that ball. You just don't feel like 4 runs is safe enough in this ballpark.
No, I mean, here's further proof. That's the 4th home run for the Tigers tonight. Get as many as you can when you can. Rajay hits his 4th. That's his 18th RBI. Pulled on the ground, foul. 0-2, the count on Ian Kinsler. And a swing and a miss, and for the first time in a while, they've gotten Kinsler. 1 away. Ian had 2 more hits tonight.
4th strikeout in the game now for Clayton Richard.
Here is Cabrera. And home run gets the Tigers an even 10 hits after 19 of them last night.
Top of the 6th. There's a lot of ball game left.
Here's the 1-0. Miggy shoots one over the head of the second baseman Castro. Into right field, a base hit. Cabrera's first hit of the night. Now J.D. Martinez. It's great to see, especially when you consider the fact that the Tigers, for the most part, have been without Victor Martinez in this series because of the lack of DH.
Well, they've definitely been hitting all up and down the lineup. Some guys having a very big series.
Right back up the middle. That's going to get through a base hit. Once it got by the pitcher Richard, nobody was there, and so the Tigers now have 2 men aboard. Saturday, Major League Baseball returns to Fox Sports 1 with another doubleheader. Giants look to improve their playoff chances. They take on the Pirates, followed by the Rangers battling the Tigers. Coverage begins at 3:30 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Well, Castellanos has been red hot in this game. 3 hits. Line drive to right field, but it's going to be caught by Soler. 2 away. Nick hit it hard, but straight at the right fielder.
Yeah, you can't swing it any better than that.
We'll bring up McCann. Single ground out strikeout for McCann. Ball 1 from Clayton Richard, who at one time was a pretty good prospect for the Chicago White Sox. He was originally drafted by the White Sox, 8th round in 2005. And was traded away in a big deal. It involved Jake Peavy. and the San Diego Padres. I mentioned the Tommy John surgery. Missing all of the 2014 campaign.
Kind of pitches a little bit like Tommy John.
That's driven to right field. Soler backs up, leaping to make the catch. So the Tigers with another home run. Rajay Davis hit one out. The wind has played a factor here at Wrigley.
To Daniel Norris. James McCann noticed something, and then the trainer and Brad Ausmus comes out. He tries to throw a couple more warm-up pitches and just can't get through it. Something around his abdomen, and he comes out of the game just 2 outs short of qualifying for the win. Somehow Gorzolani and Albuquerque finished off that inning without any damage, and the Tigers still have a 4-run lead, 7-3.
Yeah, the Cubs had the bases loaded with only 1 out in the 5th inning, and Orsolani got a pop-up of Rizzo, and then Albuquerque came on to get the outs to win the inning. So Al goes back to work as we head to the bottom of the 6th. It'll be Starlin Castro to lead it off. 1 ball, 1 strike. Castro is 0 for 2 in this game. Way outside. Two and 1. Tigers now 8 runs on 12 hits, and that is a fair ball down the line. It'll go to the corner. Castro has extra bases, and he'll slide in with a double. Lead off 2-base hit.
There's no quitting on either side of the offense tonight. Cubs and the Tigers both coming back and grinding out their at-bats. Castro gets a double to lead off the bottom half of the 6th. Pinch hitter now for David Ross.
Chris Coghlan coming off the bench. He played in last night's ball game. Get a left-handed bat in there in Coghlan. Joe Mann went deep into his bench in last night's game. Coghlan hit a 2-run homer last night. He also had a single and a walk. There's a strike called, 0-2.
One thing we've seen in this series, the home runs have been plentiful, but several of them in opposite field. Coghlan's was opposite field last night. Rajai Davis in opposite field. Nick Castellano in opposite field.
Drilled to right field and hit hard. JD's on the run, not going to get there, up against the ivy. That'll get a run in. Coghlan is on his way to third base. Might be a play. The throw. He's safe. A pinch hit triple for Chris Coghlan. Well, it's 8-4. What was that you were saying an inning ago? You just don't feel safe?
Yeah, I forgot we added on with Rajai's home run. But that ball was hit hard.
So Coghlan comes through in a pinch. And the Cubs get a run back now. Back to a 4-run game. Here's Montero pinch hitting. 0-1. A couple of extra base hits for the Cubs. Double and a triple. Montero will just simply stay in and catch. Way high, 2-0. Time call now as McCann rolls out to the mound. The 2 hits here in this inning now give the Cubs 6.
You can see why this ball club has brought some excitement to the north side of Chicago. The starters in this series have not fared well against the Tigers hitters, but they've still been in ball games. A lot of their young hitters showing what Tiger fans what they're all about.
Joe Madden has himself a good group here. Replaced Rick Renteria in November. After 9 years at the helm of the Rays. Outside. 3-1. Joe Madden got the Rays to the postseason a few times. Got them to the World Series in 2008.
And there's many that believe it's just a matter of time before he does the same thing here with the Cubs.
He walked his ball forward. First 3 Cubs reach here in the 6th inning. Time for game break. Trevor Thompson. All right, Trev, thanks. Here it is 8-4 in favor of the Tigers, but the lead now is becoming a little bit iffy because the Cubs have a bit of an uprising here in the 6th. Jeff chose out to make a quick visit.
Nobody out, runners at the corner.
Looks like the Tigers now will get some activity going. Perhaps Drew Verhagen beginning to warm up. The Tigers had to go to the bullpen before they wanted with the injury to Norris. Verhagen was called up today. Jeffrey Marte going back to AAA.
It's always a challenge for a manager when you've got guys that go up and down a lot like Verhagen has. Is what inning do you bring him in? Now, the bullpen, 7 Tiger pitchers were used out of the pen in last night's game, so you know that he'll probably get an inning or 2 if possible. And what innings do you bring him in?
That's a good point.
You want to bring him in the best possible scenario to give him success. And with the Cubs rallying again here, it's going to be a pressure situation.
Swing and a miss. Well, I guess the best scenario would be a big lead to start off an inning.
Ideally, that's what every reliever would like to do, I think.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And Addison Russell, he's 0 for 2. Just missed the outside corner. Man, Albuquerque wanted that. Wow.
Close.
Ground ball left side. This could be a double play ball. 6-4-3. Oh, Albuquerque needed that. It'll score a run, but the Tigers gladly will take the 2 outs.
Yeah, you got to roll a double play once in a while, and he's did it right there. A quick turn by Kinsler at second base. They concede the run. Now it's a 3-run ball game.
8-5. Here is Dexter Fowler. Swing and a miss. 0-1. Fowler's had a nice night, single and a home run. Fowler's homer was his 13th of the year, which is a pretty good number for a leadoff hitter. Got a 7-game hitting streak now. They'll stroke that one to center field. Ghosts. And that is that. So, all in all, Albuquerque gets the big double play, and they settle for 2.
And I want to show you something that's a very eerie resemblance. Now, the guy on the right, Harry Carey, a legend here at Wrigley, and the guy on the left, the new manager, Joe Madden. And I got to believe that Madden was hired because he's the only guy that can pull off the Harry Carey glasses and still look good. And as long as they already got a statue and the guys look similar, they won't have to put one up for Madden.
So what you're saying is the reason they hired Joe Madden was because of his likeness to Harry Carey?
No, not at all. I'm not saying that at all. But I got to believe that. Why wouldn't that play a little influence? They loved Harry.
Man, you had the truck working overtime today, didn't you?
Thanks, guys.
Jason Mott is the new pitcher now for the Cubs. Iglesias is leading it off. It is a 3-run game right now, and Mott trying to keep it right there. It'll be the bottom 3. Iglesias has a single, strikeout, ground out. Little looper into right field, shallow, gonna drop. Boy, Iglesias, man, that is his second hit, another multi-hit game for Jose. Well, here's the word on Daniel Norris, a strained right oblique.
Yeah.
That's what you anticipated.
Yeah, it's all abdomen related there. The muscles that are in your stomach wrap around from the middle of your abdomen around to the side. And that can take some time. Not necessarily good news.
Here is Anthony Gose. Well, I know the Tigers had talked about limiting the innings or monitoring the innings of Norris and Boyd and their youngsters, and well, this may be a built-in way, unfortunately, to do it. Got some changes, as you see. Montero behind the plate now. Coughlin is second. Castro at short.
You can only speculate, but you know who's going to replace Norris.
Let's whistle back out of play. Well, I know that Kyle Obstein is on the comeback trail in men, but he is not ready yet. So the Tigers apparently have some decisions now.
Need to win this ball game first.
Right.
It's 3-run lead. Getting late.
Missed it inside. 95 from Mott. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tyler Collins has moved to the on-deck circle with the pitcher spot due next. Mott is 33 years old, began his career with the Cardinals. Missed it high. In fact, he had 42 saves for the Cardinals in 2012 and then missed all of 2013. Tommy John surgery. That 42 save season with the Cardinals, by far his best year in the major leagues. 2-2 now, the count on Anthony Gose. Mott was one of those guys when he first got to the big leagues with the Cardinals, man, he could really bring it.
Yeah, he was touching close to 100. Cardinals, how do they keep doing it?
I don't know.
They replace guys like this and they still win.
Year after year.
Amazing.
Slice to left, a base hit. Gose is aboard. The Tigers now have 2 on, nobody out. You don't forget to follow the Tigers all season in 2015 with MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. And Bat is up to the moment at any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, and a whole lot more. Get MLB.com at Bat for your smartphone or tablet. So the Tigers trying to quickly get the 2 runs back they gave up. Collins will pinch hit.
Well, this is one of the luxuries of managing in the National League. The pitcher comes up and you've got a chance to improve your offense by taking a guy off the bench who's a better hitter. means the end of the night for Al Albuquerque, so somebody's going to have to warm up, I believe.
Good bunt. Have to advance the runners. Sacrifice. They head for Hagen warming up.
And he's getting back up again.
All right, there he goes. Now the Tigers a base hit away from plating a couple of more runs. Rajai Davis homered in his last at bat, 2 hits in this game. Infield coming in now for the Cubs. They cannot afford to fall behind any farther. 3-run Tigers lead. In there, strike 1 on Rajai.
Yeah, Rajai got both his hits off the left-hander Clayton Richard. A single in the 3rd, and then he homered in the 6th inning.
Activity as well for the Chicago Cubs. Russell warming up. Checked it. Don't believe he went. He did not. One ball, one strike. The 2 hits in this inning for the Tigers gives them 14 for the game. Double digits both nights here in Chicago. Stopped at home plate by Montero. 2-1. Albuquerque will end up going 1 1/3 in this game. What a huge double play ball he got in the 6th inning.
Another unique feature here at Wrigley, you don't see it too many new ballparks where the bullpens are actually down the sidelines. And with activity in both pens right now, you just wonder if.
Davis drilled by the Mott pitch. You see the reaction of Jason Mott as soon as he threw it. He was just upset with himself.
Rajai's wearing that pad on his elbow, but I'm not sure it actually got the pad or not. Those things can really help in situations like that. But it might have been just above it, which is really the tricep area. Anyway, what I was referring to with the bullpens, Espazio is going to come out. I don't know if he's signaling for a move or not.
It looked like he did. Russell is still throwing in their bullpen.
I'm just wondering what the ruling would be if an inherent wild pitch by one of the bullpen guys happened to be thrown exactly when there was a play on the infield, and not necessarily hitting the baseball, but disrupting the focus of a player. I mean, how would that be ruled?
Good question. We got to get somebody in our truck.
They're way over our heads on that one, at least my head. But most new ballparks, of course, the bullpens are in left field or right field. A lot of them are 2-tiered, where the visiting team is above or below the home team. But this old ballpark built a long time before they thought about things like that.
Here is Kinsler. He drives this one in the air to left center field. Fowler has it. Runner tags, and the throw will come into third base.
Big run right there.
RBI for Kinsler. Another sacrifice fly in this series. They'll make it 9-5, back up to a 4-run lead for Detroit. Kinsler gets his 56th RBI. That'll bring up Cabrera now with 2 outs. Miggy with a single and a walk in this game. Drives one to center field, base hit. Here comes Ghost, and the throw is cut off. RBI hit for Miguel Cabrera.
It almost looked like Anthony Ghost ran right through the stop sign from Dave Clark at third base. The ball was hit so hard that it gets to Fowler in a hurry. And Ghost was only at third base when the throw was coming in. but the good news that Rizzo cut it off. You can see on the left side of your screen there that Dave Clark was pointing to third base. Stay here. Had his arm up, and Ghost just ran right through it.
That ball was absolutely whistled. Here is J.D. Martinez. 10-5 lead now for the Tigers. 0-1 to J.D. One for three tonight for J.D. And here's one guy that really wants to get in this game. Victor Martinez got his bat. Let me in, coach.
All these hits, and he's not being part of it.
Tigers now had 15 hits. Victor relegated to watching. He's got bat in hand, though, just in case. Martinez single walk in this game, and he fouls it away.
I love another feature of this ballpark. They've got two microphones set up on the backstop screen that protects the fans right behind home plate. And every time there's a foul ball, it's like a bass drum being whacked.
There they are.
There they are. It just really can pick up the sound of that on the screen.
That might be, Jack, just might be the first split screen of microphones in the history of television.
That's how good our crew is.
It just might be.
I mean, we've got the best.
We do.
It's just the two guys in the booth that have to try to paint it.
They're lacking a little bit. The crew, it's top notch. Castellanos waiting on deck. This is the seventh man at bat in the inning. Swing and a miss as J.D. leaves the strike zone. That'll end the inning. Tigers bounce back with a couple of runs, though. Tigers baseball here in the seventh inning. The stretch brought to you by the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. Here is Drew Verhagen, who will take over for Detroit.
Well, Drew brought back up after the game last night. Jeffrey Marte was optioned back down. Basically, they needed another arm in the bullpen. So, another change. Tyler Collins goes to the left.
Which means Verhagen bats in the leadoff slot, which has been vacated by Davis. And Verhagen goes to work. First pitch is hammered deep to center field, and I mean deep to the track, to the wall. Ghost looks up. That one is out of here. Man, oh man. The second home run of the series for Kyle Schwarber. Just when you think you got the Cubs buried, they just keep nipping back at your heels.
I just can't get over how many balls are leaving the yard here. See the pitch. And that ball is center cut. If there ever was one, total extension for Schwarber. We talked about his strength, straightaway center.
Well, it's 10-6. Breaking ball drops in. Chris Bryant, the batter. That is 12 home runs now hit between the two teams in the series. And Bryant has one of them, a 2-run shot back in the third off Daniel Norris. Down the left field line, hooking, foul ball. Verhagen, before the recall here today, was 3-3 with a 3.41 ERA. That was AA and AAA. 26 strikeouts over 20 outings. Made his major league debut last July against Cleveland. Low and away. One and two on Chris Bryant. Broken bat, ground ball, right side, base hit.
Yeah, bat died a hero there. That's all you can ask for. You make a good pitch. The guy breaks his bat up the end, and yet he finds a hole. It's just one of those days. The offense is, everything's falling in. They're hitting the ball soft. They're hitting the ball hard. Who will be the last team standing?
Yeah, no doubt. It's last one out, turn on the lights type of thing. Rizzo will stand in. That is the 7th hit now for the Cubs. Tigers had 15 hits. Rizzo is 0 for 3. Oh, and 1 on Rizzo. Came in batting .381 over his last 18 games. Up high, and the count goes 1-1. Well, Rizzo's had a lot of battles in his life. Baseball certainly became secondary when he was diagnosed with cancer several years ago. He has beaten cancer, and because of that has developed a foundation for cancer research. Swing and a miss. He had a big rip there. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Just learned the other day that John Farrell has begun treatment now for cancer as well. The skipper of the Red Sox.
Tough deal.
1-2. Bounce in. McCann smothers it with the chest protector. 2 balls, 2 strikes. (10-6). Tigers have the lead. At one point they led 7-0. And then the Cubs got 3 runs in the third to make it 7-4. Way inside. Made him move his feet, and the count now goes 3-2. Jorge Soler on deck. Bouncing ball slowly towards second. Kinsler tried to shovel it. And everybody is safe. Ian tried to get fancy with it to get 2, and it cost him. Well, you hope that's not the crack in the door that the Cubs needed.
Yeah, the ball hit off the end of the bat and probably had a little spin on it, but Ian tried to, instead of shifting it from his glove hand to his throwing hand and tossing it, he tried to do it all in one action with his glove open and never got the ball in his glove.
It's going to put 2 men on now. And here comes Brad Ausmus. Look at the bullpen working again, it appears. So Brad is out here to talk some strategy. They have Soler coming up. And that is Matt Boyd, the left-hander, beginning to warm up. He's doing it very quickly. You've got to go back to September of 2013 to find a multi-error game for Ian Kinsler.
And it's crazy. Both times was with Anthony Rizzo at the plate.
It happened back in the 3rd and now here in the 7th. So the Cubs have some life now. 4-run game. Here is Soler, who is 0 for 7 in the series. Inside 1-0. Starlin Castro waiting on deck. Way outside. 2 balls, no strikes. And Verhagen scuffling right now, but in his defense, he got the ground ball from Rizzo, which at the very least have resulted in 1 out. It forced at second. And Brett wants to know how long is it going to take him to get ready. Strike on the outer edge. 2-1.
It's a tough thing. You're a pitcher, especially for young pitchers. You make a good pitch and you think you're going to get a really good result, and you have base runners still standing there. You've got to work through it. It's part of the game. And you see it when you're younger than they are here in the big leagues.
There's the chopper to the shortstop. This should be a double play. 6-4-3. Nice job.
That's the best thing you can do, is pick up your teammates by throwing another double ground ball. This one goes 6-4-3.
Albuquerque got a big double play in the 6th, and now another one here in the 7th. So with 2 outs, bring up Starlin Castro. Castro had a double, scored a run in the 6th inning. That's in there, a strike. A tough series for Soler. He is 0 for 8, including that big double play ball there. Now the 0-1. Ground ball left side. Iglesias surrounds it. Off balance throw is in time for the out. Inning over. What a play by Iglesias. Miggy on the other end.
Yeah, both guys. hard to his right, and a little off balance throw, but he gets it there. Miguel Cabrera stretches for it, picks it out of the dirt, and they get a crucial out at the time. Not an easy play, but they figure out a way to get the out. The Tigers come to the plate.
Couple of perhaps big innings short-circuited by double play balls for the Cubs. Certainly Tigers will take it. James Russell now will come on a pinch for the Cubs. Russell takes over for Jason Mott. And Jonathan Herrera will also enter the ball game now in a double switch. He will play shortstop. Castro is out of the game. First one is inside to Nick Castellanos. Double 2 homers, including a grand slam in this game for Castellanos. Got 5 RBIs tonight. And Nick looks at a ball low, 2-0. Pulled down the left field line. That's a fair ball. It'll go to the corner. Castellanos on his way to second, and a big night just got bigger.
The hits just keep on coming.
I mean, there's no end in sight, it appears.
Ball just stays fair. See it here as it goes down the left field line, about 2 inches fair. Castellano, 2 home runs and now 2 doubles.
And he'll be lifted for the pinch runner. Romine at second base. Second double tonight to go with his 2 homers. So the Tigers trying to rebuild that lead again. Here's James McCann. Up and in. So the Tigers now have 16 hits.
19 last night.
McCann is 1 for 4. Strike called, 1-1. John Lester started tonight for the Cubs, and he was pitching some of the best baseball he had pitched all season long coming into this start. Tigers didn't care, though. They hit 3 home runs against him, including the slam by Castellanos. Swing and a miss. And they knocked Lester out of the game in the 3rd. Richard came on to pitch. Mott out of the bullpen. Russell out of the bullpen. Here's the 1-2. It's sliced down the right field line. It's going to be foul. It's been a while since the Tigers have enjoyed this kind of production. First time since May the 15th and 16th they've gone 10 or more runs in consecutive games.
They got their hidden shoes on. Wrigley Field has welcomed them very kindly. But it's more about the 2 pitchers. Last night, Jason Hamill started the game. The Tigers got him out early. And tonight, John Lester started, and he was exiting early.
Pulled foul.
The good news is the Tigers have added on. 1 in the 6th, 2 in the 7th. Chance for another one here in the 8th.
The only concern tonight, obviously, the injury to Daniel Norris, left with a strained oblique. Norris, before he left the game, actually homered in his first major league at bat. Ball high. It's pretty good, man. My first big league at bat, I homered to center field at Wrigley Field, and I did it against John Lester. What a memory.
No question. That'll be never forgotten.
Swing and a miss.
McCann did not hold back on that swing.
Not at all. One gone. Here's Jose Iglesias. 2 more hits tonight for Iglesias. Runner goes to third. No throw. Romine swipes the bag.
Got a great jump there. That was all off the pitcher, James Russell. When you don't pay attention to those base runners, they can time you and know how good a jump. Look at the walking jump he gets right there. Montero, the catcher, really no play at all.
Infield in now. This is where Iglesias will just shoot one to right field, driving another run.
Well, there's a nice hole there between first and second, with the infield drawn in.
Fouled straight back. 2-1 on Jose. Singled, stole a base in the third, singled, scored in the seventh. Fouled away.
He's trying to go to the right side. Ball was up. Still a steady breeze blowing out to right field.
Great evening for baseball here at Wrigley. The temperature at game time was in the low 70s. Very little humidity. Swing and a miss, and Iglesias doesn't strike out all that often. Goes fishing there. Second strikeout for Russell.
Yeah, Russell pulled a string there, a changeup that was down. Iglesias just couldn't lay off.
So now Anthony goes.
Ghost has scored a pair of runs. Got a hit coming back in the seventh inning.
In this entire series, they've had their third baseman, Chris Bryant, on the grass, playing in tight in case Ghost is thinking bunt. He's done it several times. Of course, had the big bunt last night to start the eighth inning in a tie game, and that got the Tigers rolling. Check swing, rolled foul. Here's the 1-1. Ripped there down the first base line. That'll get a run in. Goes on his way to second. He will try for three. And he is going to make it. It's a triple. He got awfully aggressive there.
He certainly did. And that's just kind of a lackadaisical defense. The ball came in from right fielder Jorge Soler, and he threw it to the second baseman instead of really paying attention. big important run again. You just never know how many you're going to need. That ball up in the zone, and Ghost was able to pull it right down the line past Rizzo into the corner, and you could tell as he rounds first, he had every intention of going to third base. Never once hesitated.
A three-bagger down the first base line for Anthony Ghost. Tigers had a big run. Tyler Collins is swinging a miss. 11-6 ball game now. So add another one to the hit total. 17 hits for Detroit. Slap down the left field line. That'll get down. A fair ball and a base hit. Collins on his way to second. Throw is not in time. A hustling double for Tyler Collins. 12-6 Tigers.
Ausmus has got to be proud and happy about the way that the Tiger offense is running the bases. They're being very aggressive, but not watching the ball and just knowing where it's hit, taking off, knowing the strengths of the outfielder's arms.
Collins digging all the way, just beat the time. 5 doubles this year now for Tyler. We'll make it a 12-6 game. Well, he's going to get his wish. Victor Martinez will get an at bat. For the pitcher spot here, Martinez off the bench to pinch hit. He pinch hit in last night's ball game, was walked intentionally. Ball one. Victor this year as a pinch hitter is 0 for 3, has not had many opportunities. He's in the starting lineup just about every day. Now the 1-0. Victor bats .347 from the right side compared to .213 from the left side. It'll bounce in. 2 balls, 1 strike. Here's the interesting thing about this series and what the Tigers have been able to do. The bullpen for the Cubs, coming into the series, had not allowed an earned run in over 23 innings.
Well, they were due.
They were due all right. Now that streak came to a crashing halt last night, and they've piled on tonight.
There's a lot of bodies in both bullpens, and all of them have been used in this series.
Martinez goes up 3-1 in the count. So Boyd out there, who was given the hurry up sign just a half inning ago before Verhagen got out of trouble with the double play ball, just standing and watching the action now. Victor had a rip on 3-1, fouled it back 3-2. RBI triple by Ghost, RBI double by Collins. Here's the 3-2. He hooked that one right back to the Cubs dugout.
That was a long drive. That's hard to do without hitting your leg. I mean, literally hit it behind him on a line drive.
Should Victor reach? Kinsler waiting on deck. Fought that one off.
Victor can certainly slow down the pace of the game. He's going to have about a 10-12 pitch at bat. He fouls off every close pitch. He's just so good at that.
Tigers have the Rangers coming to town beginning tomorrow. They will fly home after the ball game tonight. 4-game series against Texas. After this 10-day, 8-game road trip winds up here tonight. Another foul. So Martinez continues to hack away against the left-hander Russell. And again the 3-2. Drill to left field. Schwarber on the move. That's up against the ivy. Another run will score. Martinez to second. He's got himself a pinch hit double. That is 3 straight extra base hits.
Victor does such a good job of getting to pitches that he can handle by fouling off tough pitches. And this one he just drives over Schwarber's head in left field, gets the nice carom, which allows him to easily get into second base.
16 doubles now for Victor Martinez. Kinsler bats again. Ian takes strike one. Drove in a run with a sacrifice fly in the 7th inning. He also has a single and a double tonight. Line drive right field, but straight at Soler to finally end the inning. Big inning for the Tigers. Tally up 3 more for the Tigers. Matt Boyd coming in a 13-6 game.
bullpen getting themselves out of some jams. Albuquerque gets a fly ball to Kinsler there in the 6th inning. The 6-4-3 double play that helps get out of a tough jam, and then a 7th inning, another 6-4-3 for Drew Verhagen. Needing that. It's been a lot of offense. New Tiger pitcher Matt Boyd. See the numbers for him.
Boyd made the start on Sunday in Houston. He went 5 innings, 6 hits, 5 runs in that game, pitching out of the bullpen in this one here today. He's scheduled to pitch game 3 in the series, coming up against Texas. There is strike 1 to get things rolling here in the bottom of the 8th. Romine entering, or staying in the game I should say, to play third base after pitch running. Chris Coghlan leads it off. And a pinch hit triple in his last at bat. Swings and misses.
2 pretty tough pitches right there coming out of the pen. Matt Boyd, high octane fastball, and then he drops the hook.
Boyd replaces Drew Verhagen, who threw the 7th. Bouncing in, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Montero waiting on deck. Here's the 1-2. Here's one of the quirks you were talking about.
Well, that sound was not our stomachs. That was the foul tip hit the cable wire that holds the back screen up and sends some kind of beautiful music down that wire.
Odds of that are pretty slim, but he nailed it. Phillies warming up in the Tigers pen. And Boyd missed outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So it was a 7-run lead early in this game for the Tigers. It is back up to a 7-run lead here late. Popped up foul, back out of play. It's been quite a series for the Tigers offense. They have really put on a display. The Tigers, following their 19-hit effort last night, have 19 more in this game. Their season high is 20. Tigers came into this series having hit just over 200 on the road trip. Those numbers will take a jump. The foul back. Boyd now ready with the 2-2. Three and 2.
Coghlan having a good at bat here. Boyd's thrown him some tough pitches to lay off of, but he's done it.
Boyd has had 3 starts with the Tigers after being acquired from the Toronto Blue Jays. His first one against the Royals, awfully good. 7 innings, 1 run. Didn't walk anybody in that game. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Bouncing ball back up the middle. Kinsler on the charge. He'll throw him out. Coghlan retired, 1 gone.
Well, Mario mentioned the fact that the Tigers have really come out swinging. You can see who's had great series here. Kinsler 7 for 10. Castellanos 5 for 9. Anthony goes 5 for 11, and Jose Iglesias 6 for 9. So that's just part of the offense. There's other guys that have had a good series here too. Miguel Cabrera, of course, always seems to swing the bat well, but everybody's been in on it. Even pinch hitter Victor Martinez, who because of the designated hitter, hasn't had hardly had any bats. He walked yesterday and got a double and an RBI today.
Here's Montero, who swings and misses, which brings up an interesting point. Do you ever see, or do you see it happening anytime soon, where the DH is finally going to come to the National League? Because I don't think they'll ever take it away.
I hope not. I mean, I think that's the one thing that really distinguishes the two leagues. And if you want everything to be the same, then you've got to make it the same. I think if there's ever a change, the DH will come to the National League, because it does add a little bit of longevity to certain guys' careers that otherwise might be over because they can't get out on the field.
High fly ball. That's into center field for Ghost. He's going to move over to his left. And there are two gone. Well, we check in with our good buddy John Keating. Keats?
Well, we hate to leave town, especially based on what we've seen in the last couple of nights, but we're anxious to see what the new Wrigley Field was going to look like, and they've done a really nice job. Part of the renovation, though, is to make sure that the ivy, which is a staple here, was protected. And so when they did some work on the outfield walls, they had to lay the ivy on screens, do the work, and then put it back on and get it to grow. The ivy was planted by Bill Veeck back in 1937. And Mario and Jack, you know this. It's a combination of Boston ivy and Japanese bittersweet.
Of course. You knew that, right, Jack?
Yeah, and Keats, I just want for you to address it to the fans. Now, in the fall, does that ivy turn colors like leaves on the trees?
It does.
Really?
Yeah, sure.
So you'll get some red
yeah,
hues in there.
It'll grow back up once the weather turns.
Nice. Well, leave to John Keating, dig up all the good stuff.
That's
we need
the
to
extent of my ivy knowledge right there.
So stop there.
In a nutshell.
All right, Keats, thanks.
Coming from an Ivy Leaguer, right?
Well, yeah, right. 0-2 the count on Herrera getting his first at bat. Well, when you think of the great stadiums and great ballparks, what do you think of? You think of the Green Monster at Fenway Park. You think of the Ivy here at Wrigley Field. You thought of the overhang at Old Tiger Stadium. But this Ivy is certainly what makes Wrigley Field so unique. Fouled back out of play. And you brought this up last night, and a ball hit to the wall, man. You got to be careful if you're an outfielder here.
Yeah, every other ballpark has padding for the outfielders. The warning track is their visual, or sometimes they can feel it in their feet going from the grass to the dirt. But they all have padding, so you can go hard. And here, not so much. You're going to have to turn around. You haven't seen any outfielders really testing that. Now, balls that are hit real high, if they can get back to it, they can feel the ivy, feel the wall, and maybe make a play. But then the crazy netting comes in to play, that overhang with the nets, and that can keep balls. We saw one tonight. Might have been caught, might have been fair.
This one's hit deep to the corner in left field. On the move is Collins. He'll look up against the ivy. It's going to roll away from him. That'll be a two-base hit for Herrera.
There's no question in my mind that this outfield with the ivy and the wall leads to a home team having a little advantage. The fact that they're playing here, the outfielders can take a lot more balls off the wall, or into the corners the way they are. It should be an advantage for the Cubs.
Well, it appears Boyd will be done for the night as Grant comes out, takes the baseball. Neftali Feliz will come trotting in. Pitching change here in Chicago. We'll be back. The double by Herrera has chased Boyd, and now Neftali Feliz will check in for the Tigers. And he will face Dexter Fowler. Boyd facing 3 batters, got 2 of them. And now here is Fowler, who is homered in this game, and he takes a strike. Mentioned that Boyd is scheduled to go in game 3, which would be Saturday for the Tigers against Texas. So Brad got him in for a little bit of work here. And now it's up to Feliz to get the last out of the 8th. The 0-1 to Fowler. Fly ball, left center field. Collins and Ghost both on the move. Neither one will get it. Up against the wall, that'll get a run in to make it 13-7.
They were both running after that ball, assuming that the other guy was going to catch it. And then all of a sudden they realized that neither one of them was going after it. That's more of a mental mistake right there. I'm not sure that ball shouldn't have been caught.
Well, it certainly hung up long enough, and it certainly appeared that one of the 2 would get there. But you can see neither one was running all that hard after it. That run is going to be charged to Boyd. That makes it 13-7. And here is Kyle Schwarber. Homered in his last at bat, his 2nd home run of the series, and he looks at a ball low. Well, it's almost like arena baseball here.
That's a good way of putting it, at least in this series.
Balls flying all over the place. Cubs now have double-digit hits. Six-run Tigers lead. Here's the 1-0. Threw it by him in 96. Feliz can still bring it up there. He threw better than 100 when he first got to the big leagues as a rookie. Then Tommy John surgery. Tigers gave an opportunity after he cut ties with Texas earlier this year. Here's the 1-1. 97.
Yeah, he's getting it up there, but he just needs 1 out. Get the Tigers back in for their top half in the 9th inning. Crisp little 3.5-hour game so far.
I was just about to say it's flying by. Here's the 2-1. 2-2 now on left-handed batting Kyle Schwarber. Chris Bryant waiting on deck. Cubs have had a couple of really serious opportunities to get back into this game, but they've hit into 2 huge double plays, one in the 6th, one in the 7th. And the 2-2. Bouncing ball right side. Diving play, Miggy. He did the same thing last night. He has done it again. Cabrera, sparkling play at first base. Give that man a hand.
Great play right there.
So the Cubs will settle for 1 run. Miggy showing off with the glove. All right, Trent, thanks very much. Meanwhile, the Tigers are going to keep on hitting, apparently, as Miguel Cabrera strokes one to the wall in left field. And Miggy, on the first pitch of the ninth inning, has himself a two-bagger. That is the 20th Tigers hit, which equals a season high. And how about this?
Yeah, that's amazing right there. 19 hits in consecutive games for the first time since John Keating first saw those uniforms.
And the hits just keep on coming. 1935. There you go. 20 hits for the visitors.
10 for the home team. 30 hits in the game. 20 runs. Not exactly a pitcher's duel.
Not at all. Some ERAs are going to take a thumping in this series. The last 20-hit game the Tigers had this year was back in May against Minnesota. So they can establish a new high with another hit here in the ninth. (2-0) on J.D. Martinez. (3-0). Russell came on in the eighth and had a whale of a time trying to get out of that inning. In fact, he gave up 3 consecutive extra base hits. He has thrown 35 pitches in this relief outing. Three and one. It looks like Denorfia, position player. Chris Denorfia warming up.
Yeah, I just did a game, Twins and the Cleveland Indians.
High, towering fly ball to left. Does it have enough? Schwarber to the wall. He looks up and it's gone. A two-run shot for Martinez.
There's your 21st hit.
A new season high for the Tigers, 21 hits. And for JD, his 32nd home run. He unleashed on that one.
I was just going to say Denorfia's warming up in the Cubs bullpen. I did a series with the Twins against Cleveland in Cleveland about a week ago, and the Twins had to bring in Shane Robinson, an extra man out in the outfield, to pitch for the same reason.
Well, the Cubs this year have had a couple of relief appearances from catcher David Ross, but he's out of the game. He started behind the plate. So it's Denorfia warming up right now. Romine fouls it back. And meanwhile, Russell about to throw his 40th pitch.
Well, that's just it. Joe Madden, along with Brad Ausmus. I mean, nobody wants to get your pitcher hurt, and the guy's got to suck it up sometimes. We've got a few extra men down the bullpen, but there's a game again tomorrow.
5 home runs for the Tigers in this game tonight. Castellanos had a pair of them, won a grand slam. 1-2 on Romine. Joe Madden's team came into the series having won 9 of 10. They've not been able to stop the Tigers' offense. Did not go 2-2. Ground ball back to the mound. It is knocked down by Russell. They'll throw him out. First out of the ninth. I don't know if he can ever do it here in this ballpark, but Brad relaxing right now. He's got an 8-run lead in the ninth.
I guess that's as comfortable as you can get as a manager. You dream and hope for days like this.
Well, here's McCann. He is 1 for 5 in this game. Popped up, but back into the seats. They'll battle for it. See, there's another bunch of guys that are battling for a baseball. Doesn't have to be a, what did you say, mortgage payment last night or a brand new car. That's something worth battling for, according to you. That's drilled to center field on a line and caught by Fowler. 2 gone. A Saturday Major League Baseball returns to Fox Sports 1. Another doubleheader. The Giants look to improve their playoff chances. They take on the wild card leading Pirates, followed by the Rangers battling the Tigers. Coverage begins at 3:30 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Well, Russell has reached his limit. He's going as far as he possibly can. So Denorfia now is going to have to come on and get the final out here in the 9th inning. Something a manager always hates to do, but a position player now will come in and pitch for the Cubs.
Well, that's just it. Nobody wants anybody to get hurt.
Here is the upcoming pitching matchup presented by the Michigan Office of Highway Safety Planning. We mentioned the Tigers will be headed back home, and the Rangers are coming in. Perez and Simon in game 1. Alfredo in search of his 11th victory of the season tomorrow. Perez elevated ERA at 5.29. So Denorfia, his first career pitching appearance, and this is his 10th major league season. There's got to be a pecking order among position players on who would come in first. We mentioned that Ross, the catcher, has already made 2 appearances.
A lot of times I think it's the guy that can throw a knuckleball over the plate. You know, a lot of position players will mess around playing catch with a knuckleball. And there's always a few guys that will remind their manager, hey, if you get in trouble, I'm available. And maybe that's the guy that Denorfia is.
Meanwhile, it's a no-win situation for Iglesias, because if he gets a hit, he's supposed to. If he doesn't, he's been retired by a position player. Jose with a couple of hits in this game. Iglesias had a single and a steal in the 3rd. He singled, scored a run in the 7th. Seemed like every time the Cubs came back tonight to try and make a game of it, the Tigers got a key double play. A big out here and there. First one is in for a strike, 0-1.
Registered a 53-mile-an-hour fastball.
Oh, he's coming right back at him, and it's rolled to second. Denorfia throws 2 pitches and records it out.
Well, examples like that make us all believe that pitchers make it way too tough. He just threw batting practice fastballs and
got an out.
Yeah, Iglesias got himself out.
Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be. When it's time, come to Comerica. Your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDetroit.com. See why Chevy drives the Motor City. Wallside Windows, we can do that. We are the factory. And by 5-Hour Energy Shots. Have you tried great tasting 5-Hour Energy lately? (15-7), the Tigers have the lead. And the Tigers will try and get the final 3 outs of this ball game here. Phillies will try and get the final 3 outs. We'll go through the middle of the lineup for the Cubs. It has been a wild one here. It's been a wild series, really. We talked about all the offense, and we came into this one, Jack, with Lester and Norris, and we figured, well, tonight maybe pitching dominates.
Yeah, well, we were expecting and anticipating that John Lester would be the kind of guy that he's been so often, and he just really had a clunker himself. The Tigers got to him for 2 1/3 innings of pitching, 7 hits and 7 runs, all earned. So it started early, and the Tigers just have kept adding on. Only a few middle innings where they didn't score runs, but it's been an offensive explosion for Detroit. Of course, it's been no slouch for the Cubs either. They have got 10 hits and 7 runs, so it's been all offense. Now Phillies has been asked to pitch another inning. Pitched 1/3 in the 8th inning to retire the final out. That was Schwarber.
Well, the Tigers fans had laid out their good hard cash to come to Chicago for these 2 games and watch their favorite team have gotten their money's worth.
Well, it was about a 5-hour game when you count the rain delay last night. We're working on 4 hours tonight, so they certainly could taste all the different foods here at Wrigley and all the different beverages.
And also enjoy all the different types of offense the Tigers have thrown up in this series. They lead 15-7 as we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. And the first one is fouled back by Chris Bryant, who leads it off. It'll be Bryant, Rizzo, and Soler here in the bottom of the 9th. Phillies took over for Boyd. The Tigers have also used for Hagen in this game. Albuquerque for Zalani. In the air toward right center. Goes long run. Diving, can't get it. It'll go to the wall. Here's another extra base hit. Bryant's on his way to 3rd, and he's going to be in there with a stand-up triple.
Ballhead Eyes had found a gap out there between Gose and J.D. Martinez. Gose made an effort to try to maybe a desperation dive, and Bryant really never had to run hard. It was a stand-up triple.
Leadoff man on now for Rizzo. Rizzo reaching on an error twice in this game, both times by Kinsler. And he looks at a ball low. Again, 97 from the right-hander, Phillies. Popped up. This will be the first out of the inning. Romine is under it. 1 gone.
Just like we promised earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Nick Castellanos, when was this, Mario? Way back in the 3rd inning. Reads a John Lester pitch, and that would be almost the end for Lester. A grand slam for Castellanos. Put 7 on the board for the Tigers at the time. All smiles, and it's continued throughout the game.
Yeah, that made it 7-0 early. And the only unfortunate thing is Norris could not stick around long enough to qualify for a win, leaving with that oblique injury. In the air toward left center field. That ball hit pretty well. Ghost going to the warning track to the wall to make the catch. Driving the run to make it 15-8. Soler gets an RBI. But more importantly, 2 outs. Even the outs are going to the wall. It's just been amazing.
Nothing's come easy in this one. That's why it's almost a 4-hour 9-inning game.
So here is Denorfia. made his pitching debut here tonight. He threw 2 pitches and got an out. One ball, 1 strike. What do we have here? That's high. Count goes to 2-1. Those couple of Ditkas over there. The Bears. Pretty good looking shirt. Here's the 2-1. This is back out of play, 2-2. Ah, what a 2 days for Tigers fans, man. They are absolutely loving it.
Imagine a bunch of them are on their way home back to Michigan. Quite a bit thinning crowd right now here.
There's a swing and a foul tip, and that's going to put this one in the books. Finally, Tigers an impressive 15-8 win in this one.
Here's our 1-800 call Sam call of the game, and we're going way back to the bottom of the 2nd inning. Daniel Norris at the plate for the Tigers, and it'll be a memory that'll last a lifetime for Daniel Norris.
Look at that. Ball driven in the air to center.
Look at that.
It's going to go over the head of Fowler, and that ball is gone to dead center. Daniel Norris has homered to make it 3-0 Detroit. Holy cats. Did you see that?